Coming up on Now You Made It Awkward podcast.
What was the original purpose of these flock cameras?
Originally, they were just labeled as license plate readers.
Yeah.
Now, you can go back and read the patents from when they were created. They already had the hardware to do facial recognition, their signature fingerprint program.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock
No, what I did
Right
was
at the
I did
entrance
an
of the bar.
investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You're saying this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
But originally, they were for license plate reading, right? So you would be able to find cars that are stolen, maybe the Amber Alerts that we deal with, help find missing children. But we haven't seen great data showing that that's overwhelmingly helped at all. If ideally it was just, a license plate reader, that would be, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all.
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that that's not what they are.
While the motive is unknown, the technology itself has drawn criticism in the past from people concerned about the data they're collecting.
But that's what they were described as, and that's what they were sold as, and that's still what our city council thinks that they are. These are fully blacked out pages.
Yeah.
And so that's...
Yeah, no text, nothing, just a black square.
Right. There's a history in this town
Yeah.
of not reading contracts thoroughly, not understanding what you're getting into, not understanding what this means for citizens. I will say this much. The original starting flock contract, like our pilot program and all that, was approved through a consent agenda at the exact same time the hotel was approved.
Oh, really?
Same paperwork, same day, same everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of...
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Now You Made It Awkward podcast, episode 196. It's weird because we just did 195, but if you listen to that episode, you know what this episode's going to be about. And of course, I am Shoky. You can follow me at all the Shoky-related links down below, whether that's Shoky Reviews, Shoky Reviews 2, or the It Doesn't Have to Make Sense live stream channel. And of course, give this channel a good old subscribe. We've been losing a little bit of subscribers from my subscriber push last couple months, but that's okay. They weren't watching anyways. But the 22 of the rest of you 1,038 are doing great. I love you all. But of course, if you're going to be subscribing to anything, go subscribe to the Clips channel, because that's where you're going to see, well, probably this whole episode over again, just one long clip, because it's just, that's how we're going to be. It's going to be a very topic-focused episode, and I know we don't normally do that. We normally talk awkward stuff, but today we're going to do something a little bit different. And of course, if you guys want to see the full uncut video version of this podcast, you can go over to Shoky Reviews Patreon. For as little as $5 a month, you can get that. But you can also join in on our 3 times a month video calls, where we just chit-chat, and then once a month trivia nights, because that's just fun. And please, we need some new blood over there. Look, I love my old ladies to death, but I need some younger people in there. The median age of my patrons is 55.
Hey, brother. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
They love me.
They're loyal.
They're loyal. They love me, and I appreciate everything they do. But I could use some more people like Tyler and Sean to actually come and hang out. Either way, guys, of course, if you want to support the show in other ways, you can go check out the merch store, which you can go get any of the posters we've designed. You can go get any of the T-shirts. You can get things like this mug right here that belongs to Jefe, the Few, the Proud, the Awkward mug. So get our nice little patriotic mug that I came up with there. But of course, any of the posters. And if I had to guess, there's probably going to be episode 200 merch left over. But this is being filmed 2 days before episode 200 gets filmed, so I'll probably have a link to buy merch online. But speaking of the Jefe, there he is.
Hey, I'm here. I'm tired. I'm grumpy.
He's always grumpy. In fact, he's grounded.
Grumpier than usual.
You're grounded in.
Grounded and grumpy. Yes.
You know,
follow me on the Instagram.
You know why the camera had to adjust? Because you had a bright blue shirt on the other day. Now you have a black and red shirt, so it had to thoroughly adjust.
Well, excuse me of being a person who wears color.
Yeah, you're usurping the Mayan culture over there with your El Jefe shirt.
Yep.
Yes, go follow him at the Grounded and Grumpies, where he will occasionally. Okay, for episode 200, take some pictures.
For real.
Yeah, take some pictures while we're there and post them. It's that easy.
I always forget.
Yeah, but just just when you're standing around doing nothing one day.
I don't think we're going to do nothing. We're going to be busy.
We need a 30-minute break in there. All right. And not here today is Chad, but in Chad's chair, because this is 2 episodes without Chad. Not his fault. It's the same week he's gone. We have a visitor. So we do have James Fletes, local activist, question mark?
I guess that should be what
Technically speaking, you're an activist.
Correct.
In a very specific area of expertise.
That's correct.
Which would be the flock cameras.
Correct.
That are potentially ruining all our lives.
That would be correct.
Yes. And if you want to check him out, go find him on Facebook under James Fletes.
Yeah, just find me on pretty much just search up James Fletes. That's Fletes. You can find me on pretty much every platform. And,
it'll be on the screen.
Yeah, we dive into flock almost every single day, whether it be contracts, how they work, patents. That's what we do.
Yes. And actually, it's because of you posting anything going on here locally that I even know anything about it whatsoever. And it's because I'm friends with Son, Mr. Conroe, as it were, that I even saw any of that. Because I had no idea what they were, and I'd seen them. Had no clue what it was. I just figured, oh, it's just a black pole with a little thing on it.
Right.
Solar panel would be the word I'm looking for, but
yeah,
it's been a long day.
That's been the whole mission of what we're doing here we've been doing this since March. I would love to say that, honestly, I think that Conroe and Montgomery County is one of the most informed counties now in the United States when it comes to flock. Because our mission here was to educate people, right? Whether you're for or against them, just that, like you said, that it's a little more than a black pole, right? Which I'm sure we're going to discuss a lot of today.
Yes.
But that has been the entire mission here, is just to tell people who haven't noticed them, or maybe they don't know what they are, to educate them on, what our city bought, what we have here in our city. And, it seems like it works so far.
Yeah. And one thing about it is, I've mentioned it on the show before, and because there's like Flock Watch and multiple different websites everywhere, and one of the ones I believe that, no, actually I Googled it myself after learning it, and it was I forgot exactly which website it was, but it pointed out where all of the ones in town are, even across the county. I'm sure it's not quite up to date, but I know that every time somebody spots a new one, they add it.
Right. So that's dflock.org.
Yeah, dflock.
Yeah,
that's
dflock.org. I encourage anybody to go visit that.
Yeah.
And you can just see how much they have, what I like to call plague, just all of America. I mean, this isn't a local Texas commerce show. This is a national-wide issue. And shout out to the guys there at dflock.org. Those guys did a great job of mapping out the cameras. But like you said, they are missing a few. It's a guy who pays attention, kind of knows where they're all at. But it's a great mapping, especially to show people, like, this is not just a couple of cameras we're talking about.
Because you'll see them around certain intersections where they're a bit more blatant, like right around 105 Target. Right. And then the standalone one on the West Loop by the apartments.
Yep.
It's just there by itself.
Right.
And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, okay, I know where at least 7 or 8 of them are. It can't be that bad. And then I looked at it and I think there were 94 just within the greater Conroe area, not even pushing out past the city limits, just down to roughly 1488. There was like 94 cameras just within the main city bounds.
Correct. Yeah.
And they are, from what I saw, they at every city limit, there's one going either direction on the highways.
And that's because of the contracts, right?
Yeah, and that's what I figured. It had to have been. But when I saw that, I'm like, oh, this is, no joke, more widespread than I even thought.
For sure.
Now, I do have one question just before we go too far. Obviously, they have the black ones standalone on the poles. Are the ones on the actual traffic lights, are those also flock cameras? The big white ones?
Right. So that's what is really a big difference, what makes us different than other towns is we were actually one of the pilot cities that started with flock. So we have their old models here in Conroe. So that doesn't mean that they're not, it's still the Falcon model, which we'll get into later, the capabilities and things like that. But as far as the cameras go on the intersection, as far as I know, they're not flock integrated yet. Now, that's not to say that they're not ALPR cameras or, the bigger problem that we're facing right now is every camera company is making a push to AI integrated cameras. So to aggregate that data, right?
And not just AI integrated, but totally networked.
Correct.
A total mesh network of the cameras.
They all mesh together. So I can't guarantee right now, right? I don't have the facts to actually support that, but I will say I did notice some new red light cameras up here. If you go to 3083, the stoplight right there,
Yep.
they don't match any of the other cameras in the city.
They are.
So
I know which ones you're talking about too.
yeah.
That's the road I drive.
Yeah, so that's
day.
something I'm actually looking into right now. But to kind of answer your question, they do have one though. It's called the Condor system. And that's actually the one I fear the most.
Okay.
That one looks
Flock.
like
Now I get it.
the Flock Condor system. So that one
Birds.
looks just like your regular traffic cam that you would see up there. But realistically, within that case shell, it's called a PTZ camera. So that's a point to zoom camera.
Yeah, point to zoom. Yeah.
Right. So this camera automatically, we'll again probably get to this later. Flock says that they don't use facial recognition. They don't have any plans to do that. That's exactly what this camera does.
Yeah.
When you walk in front of it, the thing just follows you.
Yeah.
You've had people hack into them to actually see what they really do. They do facial recognition.
Yeah.
So
and that's not that they have the capability, but that's actually what they're doing.
Right. That's actually what in this case.
Yes. That's what I was asking.
Right. So later on, like we'll talk about Connor's situation, and they had their whole PR team come and legal team come to our city council meeting, and they did give some insightful information. And Conroe, we'll talk about it. It's broader, right? Conroe was one of the starter cities, so we have a little bit of an older model of cameras, but cities around the U.S. they have the Condor system, the Raven audio that detects audio.
Wow.
Luckily, supposedly here yet we don't have them.
And if it would take a minute before they told you.
That's the thing. Yeah. So basically all we have to go on right now is the CEO's trust me. So whenever those people came to the city hall meeting, I mean, we talked with them for an hour and a half outside, and I had my briefcase that I brought in here, and it had the patents in there, had our city contract in there. I was ready to go. And they said that their cameras did not have the capability to do facial recognition, any of that. We don't plan on doing that. So I showed them their own patent. Their own patent, says that the camera does have that technology. And the piece of paperwork I see you pulling up right now is an interesting one as well.
So that's what I was wondering, is this technically the city contract right here, the services agreement order form? That's right here. It's the one where Jeff Smith is
Yes. So is that it's like 47 pages or
yes,
something?
44 pages.
So that's the 2024 contract. But
okay.
This goes back to 2021. And if you could, for the viewers, if you could pull up that first document I sent you, I think it would be
the MOU.
Yes, the MOU. So I want to focus on section, I believe it's 4. Sorry, I don't have the greatest.
You're fine.
The ownership section.
Yeah, right here, ownership.
And I want you to read for the viewers just what those, scroll down just a tad more right there. I want you to read that last 2 sentences, I believe it is.
Well, I'll just read the whole thing.
There you go.
So it says ownership. As between the parties, subjects to the rights granted in this MOU, which is Memorandum of Understanding, Flock and its licensors retain all right, title, and interest in and to the Flock service and its components and recordings or data provided by Flock through the Flock service. An agency acknowledges that it neither owns nor requires any additional rights in and to the foregoing not expressly granted by this MOU. Agency further acknowledges that Flock retains the right to use the foregoing for any purpose in Flock's sole discretion. There are no implied rights.
So that speaks volumes right there, right? Somebody signed off on that.
Yeah.
And, data's gold right now. Protecting data is gold. So you're talking about signing over basically your rights to your city's privacy to a private company in Georgia stated. I mean, that's one of the first documents in the contract, and it seems that was just glossed over.
Of course. Well, it's what terms of service. Nobody ever reads the terms of service. They just do the thing.
And that's becoming
and then
really
you become
apparent.
a human centipede.
Yeah, it's
South Park reference.
I got that one too.
Yeah. So, but it's in to be clear, what was the original purpose of these Flock cameras?
So that's another thing. So initially, especially us being a pilot city, it's really interesting because we get to see it from the beginning. So we're talking about 2020. Originally, they were just labeled as license plate readers.
Yeah. Now,
you can go back and read the patents from when they were created. They already had the hardware to do facial recognition, their signature fingerprint program. But originally, they were for license plate reading, right? So you would be able to find cars that are stolen, maybe the Amber Alerts that we deal with, help find missing children. But we haven't seen great data showing that that's overwhelmingly helped at all. But the initial
there are cases where it has been used for that, but not that is the main thing it's being used for.
Correct. And we all can acknowledge here that there are some great things that could happen with it for sure. Like the concept is great. I just don't think that the company executing it and the way that they're going about it is the right way. If ideally it was just, a license plate reader, that would be, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Finding stolen vehicles, finding, missing people. I think everybody wants that, right?
Yeah.
But the truth of the matter is that that's not what they are. But that's what they were described as, and that's what they were sold as, and that's still what our city council thinks that they are.
So, because you have, at this point, extensive experience with talking with the current Conroe City Council, and past at this point, because we do have slightly new. Do they truly believe that that's what it's for, or are they just okay with the actual truth? And this, allegedly,
right?
We'll throw allegedly at the front of that just in case, because you don't want to speak to people's motives that they've never said it.
Right, correct. My belief is that I have stood there enough times. I've came to every single meeting since March 16th. I've told them the capabilities. I've sent them packets on packets on packets about the capabilities, about what they signed over. So to answer your question, they know, but whenever Flock came, they, just went right along with that presentation and thought it was the most amazing thing ever. Yeah. And so do they really think that they're just license plate readers? No. But the most important thing here is they don't want to seem anti-police. And I want to make clear to your viewers, to anybody out there, there is nothing anti-police about asking questions and accountability for your local government. And there's nothing anti-police about being against a surveillance system that is violating our rights. That's not being anti-police. That's being pro-America. Yeah. I want to make that clear. And I've made that clear to the police chief, to everybody. I'm not an anti-police guy. But the biggest problem that we face is that the council, the mayor, they will never vote against the police. That's just the truth of the matter, because then you get labeled anti-police. And in this county, that's not a good thing to happen. So that's our biggest
in
hurdle.
most counties. Yeah.
Oh, right, for sure.
Yeah.
But Montgomery County especially, we're deep red over here. We love our police, and I think everybody loves that. But to get a politician, especially like you just said, we got some new people in here. They're not going to go right off the jump, just getting in council.
And it's not like it's a gigantic council either.
No,
what is
right.
It? Five people? 6 people?
I want to say 6.
I think it's 6 total, right? Because I just got 3 newbies.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hefe, did you have a question? You had a look on your face.
Oh, I can get into it later.
Okay. We'll hold the thought then. Yeah. So speaking of the trusting police and things like that, you did send me a very relevant video on that. And once again, we're not anti-police here. Like realistically, like we are against bad cops. Obviously, we're against any bad system or anybody misusing a system. And the video we're gonna watch, not this one. I'm on the wrong screen, but the video I've got up here that you sent me. Where's my mouse? I can barely see it. Okay. So this is exactly actually a case.
What was on my mind?
Yeah,
that story exactly.
Yep. So this is a great example for your viewers here.
Yes,
it really goes into the overreach that's possible with the system.
So I'm gonna remember to put this on the screen.
I mean, essentially,
I'm just gonna play it.
Yeah.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath of fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Chrisana Elzer learned the power of Flock firsthand.
You were in town from 11:52 until 12:09. Exactly. Like I said, nothing gets in or out of the town without us knowing.
When a Colorado police officer showed up at her door holding Flock snapshots of her truck.
And here's when you left at 12:09. That's when you left town.
To get?
No, to stop at Ridge Trail.
Wait a minute.
And take a package. Well, there's no shushing. I don't need to be.
I need to know where this is.
The first thing he pulled out on the body cam is that Flock picture, the clear photograph of your car.
But here's your vehicle in the neighborhood many, many times, apparently casing houses, because you just can't drive through for work or visit other businesses. You can only be casing houses.
It is her. It is 100%. It is locked in. There is zero doubt. I wouldn't have come here unless I was 100% sure. 100%. It is certain. It is on video. You're obviously welcome to go to court.
Chrisana was charged with stealing a package, but it wasn't her. The porch pirate was somebody else.
I just wanted to add the context there that the whole reason they showed up is that someone had probably an Amazon package taken. If you guys aren't watching this, obviously if you're on the audio side, so it shows a young blonde woman walking up to this house stealing this package, and then the cops have video footage of Kristana, who is I don't necessarily young, but blonde woman in the area at the same time that this theft has happened. And at least within this video, they're missing a little bit of context on why they specifically thought it was her, but they're going by the time codes and location because they track her vehicle from the time she leaves home to wherever it is she ends up. And that's why they believe that it was her and somebody vaguely matching the description in build and hair color and all that kind of stuff. It's like a medium build blonde woman in Colorado. So hard to find those.
Right.
All right, so let's continue the video real quick.
Multiple times you tried to show him your video evidence. He didn't want to see it.
No, even when I called him back, he said, that's not my job.
You looked at a time of a crime. You saw my vehicle entering in the flock.
No, what I did was I did an investigation.
You called my wife a liar. You know this is fact.
I have video evidence. I don't know what you want me to say.
The charges were dropped after Kristana spent weeks trying to get the police chief to look at her evidence. Time-stamped video from her truck and a neighbor's doorbell camera showing she wasn't at the scene of the crime.
What does it say about where we are that you feel you have to have more cameras than the police have in order to make sure you can prove yourself innocent?
It sounds like it flipped the script to you're guilty until you prove yourself innocent.
Without a flock camera, that detective would.
And this is one reason I wanted to bring this up is because in this video, they're talking to a representative from Flock about this situation. And at least what you've said, the way the council just locked in and listened to the presentation and everything else like that is very similar to what this guy is about to say. Because it comes down to the idea of if you develop a weapon or a tool for a specific use, you don't necessarily know how that thing might be used in the future. And that's basically what he's about to say about his cameras.
Not have been at her door. By his own admission, he pulled out the flock picture of her car. Do you want to apologize to Kristana Elzer for what happened to her?
For the police misusing the tools? I don't think that I have to apologize for him.
He wasn't charged with a crime. He wasn't, other than being reprimanded for his attitude.
Sure. No, but I would tell you that, should I apologize for somebody misusing a tool? I don't think so.
Flock Safety Chief Communications Officer Josh Thomas.
Who's watching the watchers in these cases?
So that'd be like a PR guy.
The city council. The city owns the data, so city council would have the appropriate responsibility in that case.
Did we just read that Flock also owns the data?
I believe we did just read that. It's very conflicting, isn't it?
A little bit.
Flock's essentially passing the buck.
Right.
Well, they would do.
Yeah, of course.
But if we go back, just for reference, we mentioned weapons being used incorrectly. SIG with the P320 and all the issues they had there. It's like, well, it's user error. It's not our fault.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, remember?
Our point of view has always been that it is not Flock's job to police the way police do their work.
We have cameras everywhere in that town. You can't get a breath.
So I like that idea. The person who created the tool has no say in how someone uses it. Is an interesting concept.
I like how they pass the blame to the city council.
Yeah.
Of all people, like the city council.
Well,
that's
they bought our product.
Yeah.
It's not our fault that they're doing that. Okay, let's finish the last little bit here.
Fresh air in or out without us knowing.
Kristana Elzer.
That was it. Okay, restarted. But I liked that statement from that officer right there. You can't step out for a fresh breath without us knowing.
And that's Conroe right now. Like you said, you just looked at that map, right?
Yeah.
We are one of the most, and we're a normal town for maybe viewers who are watching and don't know where we're located. This is not
we're not normal. We're one of the fastest growing counties.
Yeah,
in the nation.
but he's talking about Conroe, the city.
But I mean, as a city, right? We're not Houston, Texas. We're not, Portland or anything over here. Yet we have some of the highest concentration of cameras in one vicinity in the entire nation, and I think that that's a interesting thing.
Yeah, and I could see that if we had a great deal of auto theft or a great deal of kidnappings, then it would make sense to have that many. Now, we are adjacent to cities that do have those problems.
Mm-hmm.
We are near enough to North Houston. We're near enough to the Woodlands where there's an enormous amount of car theft.
Right.
Out in the countryside, a little bit less, but it happens. We have a fairly low crime rate.
We do
here. Like, it's actually a pretty safe city. Like, and it's usually outsiders causing the issues, not people within the city limits. And for the reason, and to be clear, like the base assumption of the flock cameras to be used in the case of vehicles being stolen, people being kidnapped, any type of crime being committed where a person ran away, or even hit and run accidents would be a fantastic tool for tracking movement within that.
Right.
But it's almost like they saw the gaps between the incidences and went, well, we have all this footage. What else can we do with it?
Correct.
And then you integrate that AI mesh network where they can literally track your movements around town. So my question for that, and I brought this up the other week, why are they in major shopping center parking lots?
Yeah. So
why are they tracking where people are going? Why are they in front of churches? And not aimed at the street? They're aimed inward at the parking lots.
For sure. Yeah. And that's a huge thing, right? So I'll start off with the store thing because I think there is an important difference to make here. Most of those are privately owned. So
okay, that's good.
Now, what is important to look into is the contract that they signed. So we have Home Depot, we have Lowe's,
yep,
we have Academy,
Mhm.
all signed contracts with Flock. Now, regardless on where you stand on the issue, the Home Depot and the Lowe's, why do you think that they have flock cameras within those parking lots?
That would make sense for theft in the parking lot.
Immigration.
Mm-hmm.
Immigration.
See, my brain didn't even go there.
And so another important fact about Conroe is we have one of the largest immigration facilities in the world here.
Yeah.
ICE facility.
Our ICE unit's
the
pretty
Joe
hefty.
Corley facility.
Yep.
So that's always played into my mind too, whether that's part of why we have so many here. But just for nationwide, maybe they are there for theft. You might be very right, but I just find it weird that the three companies that have major contracts with them, two of which are hardware stores where we know that, immigrant workers who work in construction normally go. So they want to see you coming and going.
Allegedly. Yes.
And, so that's something to look into for sure.
But
But
that's a point I didn't even consider, though. That's actually that makes
yeah.
sense. But in the same way, if there's anybody who knows, if a goal of theirs is, hey, we're going to track movements of any illegals in the area, we all know anybody who's lived here long enough knows exactly where you go to pick people up for that reason.
Right.
And I would expect, and I haven't checked, maybe you know better than I, that are there more cameras in those areas or not?
So no. So that's what goes against that theory. In that, so I actually live on the east side of town. So in Conroe, a lot of people forget about the east side of town. It's very Hispanic over there. If there was any crime in Conroe, it would be on the east side.
Yeah.
And yet on the east side, there's almost zero cameras. There's none over there. I mean, there's a
even
few.
the high traffic drug
Right.
areas,
So,
the gang related
correct.
areas.
You would think,
all that.
they'd be over there on Silverdale or somewhere over there.
South
No.
First.
Right. Yeah. Correct. And they're just
South
not there.
7th, very specifically, or
hell, South
North
Fraser.
10th.
Yep.
Or right there, South 10th, right
South
before.
Fraser, South Main.
Yeah, and they have, I'm not going to get it wrong, they have a few on Fraser, and they got like one.
But they're main thoroughfares.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was interesting as well, is that if it's for crime, why are they not in the high crime areas in Conroe? Like you said, we don't have a whole lot of crime as it is.
Yeah.
But if there was crime.
But we have crime-centric areas.
We know where it would be, right?
Yeah.
And those cameras are not there.
And that's weird.
So what is the purpose of having 70 to 90 cameras, like you're saying, in residential type areas where it's people like you and me just driving to work, right?
Yeah.
That's an interesting part about this program that I think a lot of people want to know. And then also going back to your point about the shopping centers, if what I believe to be true, allegedly, is going on between data sharing, even though Flock says that they do not sell or share their data, what a better way to get insight on where you go shopping, what time, where do you go eat on Wednesdays, right?
It's not like it's only Target. It's everybody who's going into Target for something.
Correct. And then so they'll use that data, right, over time to build a whole pattern of life of you to where they probably know what you're hungry for before you know what you're hungry for.
Oh, yeah. Well, Facebook knows when you poop.
Well, it's the same thing, right?
Yeah.
So data is gold. And then I think that's the biggest thing we're pushing for here is to let people know how much your data matters, especially in 2026. And locational data seems to be very valuable right now.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out why that is. Why are corporations so obsessed with locational data right now?
I think that's mostly because they're tracking movement. That's why you can have on your cell phone, which is everybody does worry a lot about the spy gear and all this other stuff. It's like, hello, you're carrying a thing that tells the whole world where you are at any given point and what you're doing, odds are. Because and just an idea for data mining and how things get put together. Do you know about Facebook shadow profiles? Have you ever heard this?
I don't think so.
Okay, so imagine that you have a Facebook account, right?
Right.
But your mother does not. Imagine that, right? So they know you are you, and you must have a mother in theory, right?
Right.
Now, whenever you sign up for Facebook, you give it access to your contacts in your phone and through your Google account and all these other things. So it sees that you have mom in your phone. Okay, cool. So it creates a shadow account under James's mom. Then it registers, say, I don't know your family at all, but I'll say, like, you have a sister. And then it says, oh, this same phone number is in this person's phone, but it's under Greta.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I know that James's mom is named Greta, and it is also in relation to this person who must be his sister, or must be his sibling. It will build an account based on data from 15 different data points from several different people. And it will just hold that info whether you actually have a Facebook account or not. Yep. They create these shadow profiles without anybody ever having to give them the specific information because it gathers associated information.
Right.
Now, apply that to driving around. So one, you're on your Spotify, you're listening to certain music, you're rolling past certain stores, you notice that you start getting ads for very specific places that are nearby. You start getting O'Reilly ads, you start getting Dunkin' Donut ads. Oh, look at there, I could get some Dunkin' because it knows you're driving in the direction of Dunkin' because it's following what direction you're going. Combine that with the Flock Camera AI system. So it knows that you left your house at 9:05 a.m. You normally don't eat breakfast. You know why? Because you don't have the time in there, or you don't have a calorie tracker that says, hey, I just ate breakfast. Or it realizes that every day at 9:10, you swing into the Target parking lot, you stop for a few minutes with your car running, because it knows, because your car's tattling on you too. You're going to drive the whole time, so it knows that. And so then it realizes, oh, hey, your calories have now gone up just a hair, and you're driving slightly more aggressive, which means you got some coffee. What's in the Target parking lot? A Starbucks. The Flock Camera sees you leave the Target parking lot, and it zooms in on that point of zoom, like you were saying. It sees that you're drinking a Starbucks drink. It now knows that you stopped at 9:12 to get a coffee from Starbucks, and it can guess by the amount of adrenaline you're now doing, any frantic typing you might be doing, or the fact that you just checked in with a selfie that says, hey, just got my Starbies, got my triple shot cafe mocha.
Right. Yeah, no, it's all put together.
All of that comes together. You said data is gold.
Yeah.
And then, because you got that coffee right then, it knows in 22 minutes exactly you're going to be stopping for 10 minutes at this one particular store.
Right.
Why? Because now you got to take a shit.
No,
And it knows that, and what's it going to do? Your Spotify is going to serve you ads for something near where you're stopping to take a shit every morning.
Oh, I wouldn't.
And so it's a predictive AI. It's tracking your movements, and you say, it's like they say they own it and can do whatever they want with it.
Right.
And we all know that our data gets sold everywhere,
and that's what worries me the most. Right? Is that, and then so I also want to put in perspective for people. Now, I want to just put out there that I don't remember the exact specifics. I just remember the numbers. I don't remember if it was within a 1-day period, a 7-day period. It was one of the two. Conroe does 14 million license plate scans within either a 1-day period or a week period. I don't remember the term there.
That seems more like a week. We don't have that many cars in there.
You would be surprised, man.
Oh, just scans in general.
Scans.
Okay.
So that means
so 100 cameras.
So essentially the same car twice every day?
Yes.
No.
Well, more than twice.
Probably 15 or 20 times.
To me,
a day.
I passed,
at least the same camera twice.
Right.
So, well, look at it this way. I can guarantee you, just based on their systems,
Well, the same
they
steps
know where I work. They know when I go to work.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, because I follow the exact same path, and I tell you, just from here to work, there's 12.
Right.
There's 12 flock cameras between here and where I work.
So leaning into what you said about them integrating with each other, like there's been a few people that have been like, okay, well, they only know where you're going as long as you pass one. So, I mean, like they don't know exactly where you're at. Well, well, what if they link that data together, right?
Yeah,
With your
networks.
cell phone data or with whatever it be, they know exactly where you're at. And then now, you know,
they can predict where you're going to go.
correct. And have y'all seen the new cars that are coming out that are going to have like all the cameras within the
AI
car? And
integration,
like what are we
the
talking about?
self-driving.
Kill
We're going down
switches and all that.
Yeah,
Well,
man. I mean, we're going down a slippery slope
So
here.
the woman who was in a Rivian that has built-in cameras, so they had to go through the in-car camera footage to prove where she was and when she was.
Right.
Now, if you have a vehicle that is tied into a network that meshes through DOT or your local police department so that it's tracking your movements, it knows. Now, what I do love is that people complain about this whole kill switch thing in the vehicles. Did you ever have a GM vehicle that had OnStar in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. OnStar had a built-in kill switch.
Oh, yeah.
And they could, you know, any police department, FBI, whatever, if you were on the run, they could just kill your vehicle while you're driving it.
Yep.
To the point also, my buddy Brian, way back in the day, he had a GMC. It was when OnStar was really new. It was so sensitive. Mind you, this is not AI technology. This is very basic satellite phone crap, right? He had a heavy bag of groceries, or I'm sorry, it was a box of stuff that was moving in his passenger seat. An alert went out, came across a speaker. A representative from OnStar called him and said, "Excuse me, Mr. Duke, why is your passenger riding without their seatbelt on?"
Whoa.
Yeah, that's going over the edge.
And this was in 1999.
Wow.
I'm sorry, no, it had to have been after that. It had been 2002. Sorry. Either way, the point is, even then, your vehicle was spying on you and reporting that to someone, and you signed up for that when you bought your car.
Right.
Now, you might have only had it for a year. Most people didn't up it, right? And but at the same time, you got the benefits. You can call them, ask for roadside assistance. They could track you. They could send somebody your way if you had any other issues. There was an emergency button. Say you got in an accident, you just hit that red button. It instantly put out a call to where you were, to the local 911 office, all that kind of stuff. And they knew exactly where you were.
Right.
And that was in the early 2000s, before we had spies in our little black mirrors.
Right.
But now you've got vehicles that have integrated cameras in the dashboard watching you the whole time you're driving, because now if you're nodding off a little bit or you let your hands off the steering wheel, your vehicle yells at you or it ceases to drive. You know, you get these self-driving modes. So combine your self-driving mode with any internal and external cameras. And if it's on any kind of mesh network, which they all have to be or else they wouldn't be able to function, right?
Right.
We don't want to get into full dystopian future here, but
yeah.
the more access you give people over your life, it feels okay for a while when you're benefiting from it. But the first time that it comes back to bite you in the butt, like this young lady we were talking about here,
There you go.
then what are you supposed to do? And as she fought with her own evidence, she said, that's not good enough. It's like, what do you mean that's not good enough? It's the same kind of evidence you have.
Mhm.
You have an image of someone at a door, and you have images from me driving around, and you just put 1 and 2 together and didn't realize it should have been 2 and 2.
With 100% certainty.
He said that
You heard
100%
with
certainty.
100% certainty.
Except
He got a new toy, a new asset,
Right.
Yeah.
and he went believing it whole hog.
Yeah.
And without
Because-
doing his due diligence, without investigating it further,
Right.
and looking at that second side, he just assumed she was automatically guilty.
And like she said, the idea of automatic guilt and having to prove your innocence is messed up. But kind of what you just said, why would the cop trust it 100%?
Like you said, I think he got a new toy.
Yep.
And I want to speak on that for actually just a brief second
Sure.
because
Well, in law enforcement, new assets and new tools don't come around that often.
no.
Yeah.
They really don't. And when they have something that could potentially be a good investigational tool, they jump on it. They
Yep.
use the hell out of it.
And that's, you talk to almost any police, they're going to tell you it's been such a great tool. It's helped us so much in our department. And
it's
I want
probably
to
not
I want
even
to
been
talk about
used.
that. I'm sure it has helped in your department.
Mhm.
When you can search a vehicle by their bumper sticker, by a rack, by a dent in their car,
Any identifying.
right, and then
mesh.
get a 30-day map of their life, I'm sure that has made your job easier. But you know what? I actually have more faith in our actual police officers to go out there and do their actual job
Yeah.
with the community naturally than I do with these cameras. And then we've seen just in this video, they're not perfect. You're talking about false arrest here.
Yeah.
Something else too. You're putting, and this has already happened, I think 80 confirmed across the United States, allegedly. Just want to put that out there in case I'm wrong. you have murder cases that are being dropped because evidence was misused through this flock system. So you have families out there
Really?
that, oh yeah, so you have
Wow.
families that their case is potentially in jeopardy because flock messed it up. So this murderer is going to get off.
And because they're using it as a key piece of evidence, and they probably stopped right there.
Right. And then another thing is DPS ran these flock cameras. You can look this up. They ran them in Texas for 2 years without a license. So realistically, any case within that 2-year period that they stopped that person based on the flock, out of there.
Out of there. Yeah.
Out of there. So maybe I haven't looked, but if there was a potential murder or really violent crime, that criminal's walking free now because this company came in and decided to just operate without a license for 2 years.
And here's one thing, just on that notion, just real quick. I have another thing about the cops trusting the system, but just that notion there. So one of the key factors that kind of helped Kyle Rittenhouse in his case a few years ago was the fact that the prosecution took drone footage and ran it through an AI program to upscale it so they could see better. And then they had that dismissed as evidence because it was computer generated.
Right. So, I mean,
Not just
it can kill cases, man.
Yeah. And the thing is, now mind you, just the Kyle's case aside, just the idea that you're going by a camera that is owned by a private company, paid for by your city, and it's running through a mesh network with AI tools. And yet you're going, and it's already been proven to be hackable.
Yeah.
Right?
And I also want to touch on that later.
We will. But the idea is, how do you trust this evidence that you yourself did not gather? Now, as an investigative tool to find a direction, fine. Using it as a key piece of evidence, unless it completely captures a crime in progress, I couldn't see how they could just say, hey, like in this case, there was no evidence of her being at the scene of the crime, but she drove near the scene of the crime roughly at the time that thing was. However, I'm going to assume, based on the footage we saw, once again, assume the woman who did steal that package probably was not driving a green Rivian.
Right.
She just happened to be near a green Rivian being driven by a woman with the same color hair who stopped at a house nearby. But because they couldn't track that far, and without gathering every single house cam in the area, every single ring cam, which I like watching these ring cam compilations of like a whole street when like a car goes flying by.
Well, Ring partnered with Flock, right?
I wouldn't doubt it. It's all, well, I mean,
they canceled their contract, but they did.
Yeah.
Wow.
They gathered everything they needed and got out the door.
With this new
they just went, we can also do this too.
With this evolving technology, I think it needs to be treated similar to like Google Maps and Apple Maps when it first came out. It's a tool, but you can't blindly follow it. You have to treat it with
it's
a modicum of
respect.
Respect. No, not
skepticism.
Skepticism. There we go. And also apply a lot of common sense with it when you're utilizing the tool.
What now? What now? Do what?
Common sense.
Oh.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or you're going to end up driving.
I forgot, what year is it?
Or you're going to end up driving into a lake.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. It's the Michael Scott problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the Michael Scott
Exactly,
problem. Yes.
yeah.
We just had driving into the lake. It's the Michael Scott problem.
I mean, because I can see how these flock cameras will essentially make an investigator drive into a figurative lake.
So
right, and we know AI hallucinates too.
It does.
Let's not.
Grok has been fun watching all that.
Right, and it hallucinates. So there is an AI program that's aggregating and putting together all this data, right?
Yeah.
So
And
how do we know that it's not hallucinating the data? Or like, for example, this case up here, I don't know exactly how I think they just used it, like you said, based on, oh, your car was in this area. But let's say
was in this area at this
AI
time and worked
flagged
backwards.
that, right?
Yeah.
So like, I know for sure, right? They have a system where like if you drive in a high drug area, they can flag you for an interdiction stop.
They
right?
might use it.
Right. So they'll use that for now this person is flagged, do an interdiction stop, find them rolling a stop sign, forgetting to use their blinker, pull them over because they drove by this house.
Yeah. It's a digital broken window policy.
Well, have they described or released any details of how reactionary this system is? These systems are building a profile of you and your movements and your habits over weeks and weeks and months. What's it going to do when it senses aberrations in your patterns?
Right.
It flags it.
Exactly. And
why did he go here on this day?
Is it going to alert law enforcement? Is it just going to track you more heavily? What's going on?
And then why can't we know that information?
Or people like me who are all over the place doing all kinds of crap, and it changes constantly.
Well, look at what I do.
Yeah.
It might not track my vehicle, but if it's tracking faces, it might know, because I'm in a work vehicle, it will go, okay, his face is in this vehicle with this license plate every day between these hours, and he's all over the county. Now, it might exclude the fact that it is a work vehicle, maybe, or, once again, it can be used for anything you might want to know. But also, assuming people, given what I do, if someone were to get access to that data, realistically, it can be used to perform other crimes based on my movements without me doing anything. But people following what I do could be committing crimes very similar to what happened up here. But I'm going to go back to one point I wanted to make before we get too far about why cops would blindly trust a brand new system. And I believe it has something to do with this large number right here on cost of the units.
Yeah, and that's just
they got to justify,
and that's for only 10 Falcons.
And we have at least, at minimum, because the Attorney General is still withholding that information.
Yes.
At minimum, with the contracts we have, 52 at the minimum.
Yeah,
and then also that number there that you're seeing, the per year one.
Yeah.
Recently, I just open record requested the police chief's text message between him and Flock before they came to my meeting, because I wanted to know.
Yeah.
What were they talking about?
And
what
you
brought
posted
them?
that the other day,
I did.
right? Yeah.
I did. And in those text messages, barely caught off, but I saw in between their text messages, the Flock sales director for our region didn't ask the police. He told the police chief, by the way, our subscription has gone from $2,500 a month per camera to $3,500 a month per camera. I just wanted to let you know.
Per camera.
Per camera.
And how many did you just say?
52. But I would argue that it's closer to 75.
Yeah,
most likely.
I wouldn't doubt that. Once again, and we now have a whole new section of loop that needs cameras.
And that's a month?
Yes.
Per month.
Per month. And that's not counting installation fees. That's not counting. I mean, everything is fee.
Yeah, fee. So make sure to put all these things on a screen. So right here, what we just have is a small example.
Right.
We got 10 Falcon cameras at $5,000 a piece. So that's $50,000 just cameras, right? And correct. And then standard implementation fees.
That's minimum.
Mm-hmm. And so standard implementation fee, $350 with 4 of those, so $1,400. And then advanced implementation fees, I can't talk, $750, and that's 6 for those. And then you got $4,500 there, so equaling a large amount of money right there.
Yeah.
And that's that's only just for 10, and I assume that was somewhere near the beginning.
Yes.
It had nothing to do with the current situation, and those are clearly old prices.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
but before all the fees and everything, before just the subscription on 72 for a year, you're looking over $500,000.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's 1 year.
And that's before all the other fees.
Right. Yeah. And our city signed, and I don't know what background you guys are from, but in any industry, you don't sign 5-year contracts with anybody.
No.
You do not sign, I mean, unless you know that brand or company 100%, a 5-year contract is a long time.
And there's probably no arbitration clause in there or anything.
No. And they signed a 5-year contract with these people.
With adjustable rates.
Right.
Clearly with adjustable rates.
And I would love to email that to you after. We could put that in here. The text message, he didn't ask, he told.
By the way, it's going up $1,000 a month per camera.
Yes. No ask.
And that's do we know which cameras those are for, or is that just a flat fee?
I would assume all of them.
Okay. That's what I was wondering. It's like, does it matter depending on if it's the Falcon or the Condors or the Ravens, like you were mentioning? Well, those aren't cameras, those are whisper machines.
Yeah,
listening in on you, which is also terrifying.
Terrifying.
Because, well, I assume that they'll be used to track the specific sound of your vehicle, but also can listen in on conversations at any given point as long as there's one nearby, right?
Yeah, and they covered that basis by saying, of course, they rolled it out first as a gunshot detector, but that's already been a thing. So then
they've had that forever.
Right. So then they said, well, it can also hear sounds of distress. So if somebody's screaming, it'll be able to pick that up. That's just to cover your butt, man.
Yeah,
that's
don't have those in
cover your
Woodlands where all the
butt.
foxes are.
Right, because they know that somebody's going to look into it and see, hey, this thing can actually listen pretty good, and then they can just say,
it
hey,
can listen for anything it's told to listen for.
Exactly. So
keywords.
I mean, this is just we're going down a deep path here that is just.
So before we derailed too far, let's just right there on that audio thing. All they need is a sample of your voice, which they can get from probably any Facebook video. because most people do that crap, Instagram, whatever, unless you're one of these people who don't have a profile. But then they can grab that from your voicemail if you're dumb enough to have left your own voice on your voicemail, which, by the way, guys, if you have that, get rid of it, because that's how a lot of scams get perpetrated through. So, one, they can synthesize your voice. They can put it into the thing. It can listen for your voice in certain areas. And then once they target your voice, it can focus specifically on it. A lot of this is military tech. They've had this stuff for quite some time.
And I haven't even thought of that point yet. That's
You're not paranoid enough.
No, that is alleged. Like we're gonna say alleged here. That's how they're gonna use it. You know, it may not. It's not gonna be this year. It's not gonna be next year.
It'll be a couple
whenever
years,
whenever that rolls out, that's exactly how it is gonna be used.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like
They're
I said,
match your voice.
Yeah, not only that, which is useful, but they can listen in on phone conversations without having to tap into a phone line. They can just target your parked vehicle in a parking lot or in traffic because they'll probably have them sitting there.
Yep.
And since it can isolate sounds, it doesn't just hear everything. It can focus specific frequencies. The other thing is, if they want to use it for tracking, they can track certain specific things, like the exact tone of your vehicles. They're like, okay, cool. Now we can listen for his vehicle. We don't have to see it.
Yeah.
And so even if our cameras can't catch it, the microphone can.
Right, and
then they can triangulate.
Yeah, and this isn't humans involved here. We're talking
this
about
is all
an
a
AI
computer
algorithm
system.
making these decisions. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause-
it's not like a guy behind a desk that we're talking about here. We're talking about a massive AI system that is
Not
able
like the
to
good
do
old
this
days.
simultaneously, right? Yeah.
No, it's actually just 7,000 Indians.
Yeah,
That's what
right,
it is.
right.
It's just 7,000 Indians listening and watching, which, I mean, there was already an AI company that was caught doing that. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
hear that.
700 Indians. It wasn't actually a large language model working. It was literally just 700 dudes in a building answering your questions, Googling it and as fast as possible. But gonna be honest, that's pretty impressive.
No, it's impressive.
That's actually very impressive.
Yeah.
Silly, but impressive. Okay.
Yeah, we're almost getting to Minority Report territory.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we always think that these things they're predictive. They're not. They're prescriptive.
The react.
They were no. It's prescriptive. It's telling you where we're going. It's telling you, hey, we could do this. It wasn't predicting that we could do that. It's like Star Trek. Star Trek gave us the idea of data pads, and now we all walk around
cell phones and
and cell phones talking into your watch. We got that from every different spy thing, Knight Rider, James Bond, I Spy, all that kind of stuff. You could talk into your watch. Video watch conversation. Dick Tracy in the 50s came up with that idea. Now we can just do that.
The Simpsons
came up with they're one of the ones.
They're one of the ones, right?
Star Trek did it first.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
But it's in the way they implemented. You're right.
The Jetsons did it too.
Jetsons, well, not flying cars, so we don't have.
But they did the FaceTime.
The Jetsons also is sidebar. I prescribe to the idea that the Jetsons and the Flintstones take place at the same time. It's just the Flintstones are on the ground level and the Jetsons are in the sky level. It's like Elysium.
Exactly.
It's Elysium.
That's a cool perspective.
Because there is a movie, and I brought this up not long ago. It's a crossover movie between the Jetsons and the Flintstones. Everybody assumes it's a time travel movie, but it's not.
Yeah.
They're just
Hey,
one went up, one went down. And like maybe there's like a portal that transported them because there's a barrier.
Well, there's a smog layer.
There is a smog layer. You see it from the Jetsons. You can't see the ground at all from the Jetsons.
Interesting.
But funny idea that we could have the super haves and the super have nots.
That just might be the biggest conspiracy we're talking about today. Is the Jetsons part
Well,
of the Flintstones? We need to know.
Conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Theory.
Theory.
It's clearly
It's a
the same
theory.
planet.
Yeah.
It's clearly the same
We
planet.
need to figure that out after the show, guys.
But see, people always stop the word of conspiracy. It's like, no, a conspiracy is a thing that is real. You just don't know about.
Right.
Conspiracy theory is something that might be real. So the problem is we know there's some type of conspiracy because we see these private messages between the cops and the company. We see the nice fun language in the ownership clause under the
But
the
here lately,
understanding
how many
agreement.
of these theories are becoming just sport?
Yeah,
but that's also why I said
Is a conspiracy theorist even a conspiracy?
conspiracy
if they're right,
They're taking a lot of wins this year. Let me tell you.
Well, much like yourself, you're involved and you're watching and you're gaining all these information. Anything that you put out there about what Flock will do in the future, people are like, oh, he's just coming up with that. No, you are just in the know and they are not.
Right.
So you look like a conspiracy theorist,
It does.
but in fact, you're just in it every day.
Correct.
It's what you've chosen to do.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't mind, just give us a quick, now that we're 45 minutes, 50 minutes into the show, what got you into this? What started this?
Yeah.
Because it's a random thing to have
it is
latched onto.
It really one got I had seen one person on like Instagram kind of talking about it, and we're talking about last year sometime. And then I noticed one come up almost across the street from my house. So I did my own independent investigation on the technology.
Which part of town would that have been? You don't have to give a specific address.
Airport Road.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
I know
Airport Road.
know exactly where you're at then.
Yeah. So they put one there, and from there I just started doing research, and I realized, I work in data protection. So once I started reading this information, I'm like, this is not good at all. And just, after seeing that one, I kind of turned it into a little game of I Spy when you're on the road. And once you start seeing how many there is, it started being very concerning to me. So I drafted up some paperwork just requesting simple information. And it got kind of deep to the point to where I realized that I needed to have the community surrounding me as well, because you go in this alone, that's when they mess with you.
Of course.
That's when they do things. So you have to get the community behind you. And so that's what I did. So I submitted some just Information Act request paperwork, and that got me into it. And then I went to my first city council meeting. And then from there, I met Son and that whole group there. And we've been,
the
fighting.
nut jobs, as they were.
Yeah, right. And
the city's not trying to screw over small businesses.
Yeah, right. So yeah,
sure they're not.
We did that whole fight. Luckily, it seems like a win thus far. I think we've got downtown back open, but just from there, it's been like activism. But what's kept me in this so long is that the city is hiding information.
No.
I mean, yeah. I mean, since March 16th, today marks the 115th day. And I still don't have at least probably almost half of the paperwork I requested, because it's before the Attorney General. Then they have 90 business days to give you or 45, business days to give you a response. And
and I would love to point out the fact that at one of your FOIA requests, they returned you completely and utterly redacted.
Yes. And how many pages is that there?
So that's 26 down to 44. So that's what, 18?
And that's not a redaction. That is a fully black page. I hope that the viewers are able to see this.
Oh, I'll have it on the screen.
These are fully blacked out pages.
Yeah.
And so that's
no text, nothing, just a black square.
Right. And that's what's before the Attorney General right now. And even they have called for an extension now. So, I mean, it's just extension after extension.
And this is directly from Flock themselves.
Yes.
This wasn't the
This is from
city replying. This is from Flock
is the
Safety.
city. This is the city's contract. So,
I got you. Okay.
This is the city's
So this
contract.
is the actual...
This is our 2024 contract.
I got you. So this is the contract the city made with Flock. That's why it's on their stationery and all that.
Right.
Gotcha.
But
okay, that's why I was wondering.
Clearly their paperwork. I mean, it's their standard contract, I would assume.
So let me ask, who redacted it then?
That would be the city attorney. So the city attorney gets to decide that. And then the way that the process works is, so Information Act request is supposed to take 10 days, and they're supposed to give it a response. Every single time the city has waited until 10 minutes before the absolute legal deadline to extend things in any way possible.
Sure.
And then literally yesterday, I got another extension.
Yeah, I think I saw that post.
Yeah, dude. So it's just nonstop. And what was the question again?
The original question was who redacted it, but you mentioned that. But
yeah,
can we? So in this grand, let's just stick with the conspiracy idea here, because it's not so much theory. We're not practicing in theory. We're practicing in reality that the city of Conroe has been doing behind the deals. Some reason they don't want anyone to know how much money they spent, what the actual contract is, what data they're probably signing over. Now we have the memorandum on, which should be a basic concept, right? But we also don't know if there's an agreement in there for what they can use the data for, what they're giving over to Flock, what specifically, what cameras they probably have. I mean, we have a good idea of that.
Right.
But
that is portion of what they redacted. So apparently you're a terrorist if you want to know where the location of the cameras are. That's no.
Well, I think we have some stories about that.
Yeah, I was
technically,
say, there's a bunch of stories about that now.
We do have stories of technical terrorists, if we're being fair here.
Okay.
But just the idea that, so just a minor bit of history of, and we talked about it here on the show, the hundreds of millions of dollars in tax revenue that the city stole from the public to fund a hotel build for some reason, that nobody seemed to be able to explain why they stole $150 million to help build a failing resort not even a resort, what's the word? Convention center.
Right.
And we can't tell who technically benefits from it, right? As far as I know, nothing has come out about who was tied to that directly. We know who did the agreement, but we don't know how and why, or whose pockets exploded. That clearly, we know how some of these things work within government.
How about this? I'll promise to come back.
Absolutely.
I'll promise to come back, and we'll have a whole episode.
I want that because that's why I want to.
Because I have some answers for you, but I'm not quite ready to talk about that.
Okay,
yet.
well, when it's done cooking, by all means, you're welcome back anytime. And also, the next time you come back, you'll be welcome to join the Offenders as well.
Cool.
It's our superhero team.
All right, that's cool. I'm welcome in. I got the A team. That's me and San's group.
Oh,
the A team.
Nice. Well, we have the Awkward Offenders, and then we have our side team, which I can't necessarily say their name. So it's the Thundercuts.
Yeah.
But the N fell off the sign. If you catch my drift.
Yeah.
Either way, that's just it's a thing that we do here on the show. But either way,
but you brought a perfect point. There's a history in this town.
Yeah.
Of not reading contracts thoroughly, not understanding what you're getting into, not understanding what this means for citizens, and it directly tied. Actually, I will say this much: the the original starting flock contract, like our pilot program and all that, was approved through a consent agenda at the exact same time the hotel was approved.
Oh, really?
Same paperwork, same day, same everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
But there are
But it would have been the same council.
Same council. It was the same
and
council.
Commissioner.
It was. Yeah. So and
so
let me
hold on. Let me just let me poke that a little bit more because I have a question on that. Would it also be the same timing where all of these left lane curbs got added as well?
I'm glad you brought that up, man. No,
because you came here, you know how bad it was. We were one of the first areas that got them.
That killed I can't imagine how many businesses that killed in the process. I worked at a business that was there during that time.
What happened to the class action lawsuit of businesses? Did they just never put it together?
I guess not. But I'll say we had a wonderful infrastructure bill that was passed. It was supposed to be to build, to make America better, fix bridges or bring us
local attractions. The multi-billion-dollar.
They spent the entirety of that money building medians, and this isn't just they did it across Texas. So I'm with you, man.
Ruining actual highways that they spent hundreds of millions of dollars building.
Just down the road past the high school, so many businesses were affected by that.
That's where.
I think it's caused more accidents.
Yep,
it has.
I agree.
I'll tell you this because I had to ride home with a tow truck driver a few months ago who specifically services this area, and I said, well, I told them where I was going. Obviously, they're towing my car home, and I was like, hey, just point of curiosity, since they added these curbs, have accidents gone up or down just in your purview? And he said, 10 times.
Yep.
10-fold accidents. Now, mind you, it has minimized vehicle accidents, but has maximized singular vehicle accidents.
Right.
However, just sitting right here, we've had so many pileups because people think they're turning into the wrong area, and then they slam on the brakes and correct, and then you get a 5-car pileup.
Right.
Shoot, we had the cement truck not long ago.
The cement truck
was crazy.
That was somebody who ran a red light.
But we were sitting here.
Yeah.
We heard it.
Oh, you heard it?
We saw the aftermath.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was right down the road there.
Yeah, just out of sight.
At a road that I won't say out loud to not give things away, but it happened. I was stuck in traffic getting here, and then you guys were stuck in traffic after that because it was backed up even further. Part of that was because of the curbs. Part of that was because somebody ran a red light coming downhill.
It was Chad that was.
Chad was, yes, absolutely, because he was stuck on
3083. He showed up right when we thought he should.
But do you guys know who's? Because again, I can only investigate so many things at once. So I have so many things I would love to investigate. Do y'all know who approved these medians?
I don't offhand, but I would love to. Guys,
I would love to dive into that too.
So I would say a lot of our the audio listeners are all over the world, but local listeners, if you guys know anything about these curbs and who put them in or who approved it, and also whose cousin owned the concrete companies, because that's clearly. I mean, when you divert hundreds of millions of dollars to tearing up concrete and replacing it with useless concrete, somebody got paid for that.
That makes me think.
Is
that what, Knife Ridge or what?
I wonder if that's. But wouldn't that be Department of Transportation's concrete?
No.
Or was
no. The concrete's local.
Those are contracts.
Those are contracts.
Save this for another thing, but are y'all in your head thinking what I'm thinking about concrete right now? And
yeah. I mean, that's long been the joke. Because, like, first of all, why does it take so long to build any roads around here?
Okay.
Why do they build 7 roads at the same time? And then why did they tear up a quarter of all of these roads to add a useless turn lane that burned businesses and has caused more accidents?
They're about to do it again in Willis.
And also,
97 East is about to get widened.
True. And then also, just random question here. With all of these increased accidents around here, what has that meant for insurance companies?
Yeah,
they're going out of business because they can't afford to pay out.
And
for
everybody's
all of these
premiums
accidents.
are going up.
And everyone's premiums are going up.
Right.
And
$5,000 every 6 months. Really?
Yeah.
For 3 vehicles?
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, mine isn't nearly that bad, but it's gone up, and it has only gone up, and our record hasn't changed. It's going up because they can't pay these claims, and they got to get more money inside.
Yep.
You can't tell me that's not a coincidence. That there's like too many things, but it would be interesting to find out because it seems like that hotel, these flock cameras, and those curbs all started in 2022, give or take.
Yep.
Give or take.
Give or take.
Now, when that contract began, like when it was signed, can go back to 2020 easily.
So we have a 2020. So all the dates are either one of the 3 that I've seen thus far.
Sure.
It's 2020, 2022, and 2024. All
So
the
every 2
important
years.
things that have happened are those years.
Okay.
So I would imagine what we're talking about.
Yeah, those
they're in the
those
2022.
curbs started in 2022.
Yep.
Right after we moved in here. And you used to live in this same place.
I did.
So that's what's even funny about it. So you know what it was like before they put them in.
Yes.
So that means you probably also lived here when that really horrible motorcycle accident happened
Yes.
right out front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I could understand some kind of reactionary method there because that was a really bad 3-person accident.
Yep.
And then, I feel bad for the girl who lived here whose boyfriend was coming to pick her up to take her to the hospital because she was deathly ill.
Whoa.
And then he died, or he didn't die, but he killed the motorcyclist. And then the other person in the other car that lost control was all bad. So I think it was 2 fatalities and then that. But either way, that was a horrible accident. And we heard it and then went out later to see exactly what happened from pictures. But that's not an excuse for causing tens of thousands of dollars of damage since then. And because the curbs are getting battered and beaten by vehicles, 18-wheelers nonetheless, not being able to get where they need to go.
Well, heck, during that, what was it, that cement truck that went down?
Yeah.
It looked like some either president or vice presidential motorcade got turned around and they had to jump the curb.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a some type of motorcade.
Giant black bus with a presidential seal.
Yeah,
Cops in front, cops in the back.
Somebody important was stuck in that traffic. Yes,
I watched him jump the freaking meeting and turn around.
Yeah, no conspiracies on why they would want that to randomly get stuck on a highway somewhere, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the flock camera idea here.
Yeah,
So,
let's go back.
the reason you are here on this specific day is because you have a city council meeting tonight.
Yes, big one.
Yeah. So, what exactly is happening tonight?
Yeah, so tonight, like I had mentioned earlier, about one meeting ago, I missed last meeting because I finally took a vacation for myself after I was like, okay,
A what
time
now?
a
Yeah, right.
vacation.
A
Yeah,
what?
right.
What are these things?
No, I don't even know. I needed one bad. So I did miss the last meeting, but I've not missed one since March 16th. This one I wanted to do and organize. I wanted some time to organize it. I wanted to bring in the citizens. They brought in Flock to go tell us their side. Now I want to bring citizens to City Hall to voice their opinion. So I think we have at least 30 people going at minimum. So we're just going to be there during the city council meeting. You get 3 minutes to speak. So I'm hoping even if the people don't come up to speak, just being there means a lot.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of people that have already told me they're going to speak. So hopefully today, today's city council meeting, it's not on the agenda. It wasn't put on the agenda, but we're going to be there. We're going to speak out against it. We're going to tell them what our issues are, why we're there, why this bothers us. And then hopefully, by the end of it, they realize that, at the end of the day, you don't serve Flock. You don't serve that private company. Even in this instance, you don't serve the police chief. You serve us as citizens. And so I think that they really need to be reminded that. And I think they also need to be reminded the power that us citizens hold, that we can recall you at any time. In
Which
case
they just proved in the election back in.
So I think they're getting a little
May.
too comfortable, and they need to be reminded that they serve the citizens.
Yeah, I agree with you on that notion because having your voice heard, trying to take direct legal action, much like yourself, filing FOIA requests, doing all these other things. And by all means, guys, you can do these things locally as well. And
reach out to me. I'll help you.
And yeah, go look up James directly. He'll help you how to get in touch with this, or even maybe how to organize things properly. Because the other thing is like, well, where do I start? It's like, well, one, know what you're talking about before you go in there. You can just go up there like a nut job. We've all seen that. You get up there and you rant for 2 minutes about your neighbor's dog pooping on your property, and it's somehow the cops didn't come out and check that out. Meanwhile, somebody else over here is literally has a multi-$1,000 problem that is entirely on the city, and they're waiting for this guy in the rainbow shorts to stop talking.
Right.
I'm just picturing a whack.
No,
whack-a-loon.
it's happened, man. Like I said, I've been to a lot.
I've seen the videos. Yeah.
Now. Yeah.
You've been there. I've just seen some videos. But the reason I say the legal and correct methods for addressing these things is because we, especially as you have here from ABC 13, we have what happens when people go the other route.
Go the other route, right.
So I have an Instagram post. So it's hard to see, but we'll watch it at least very briefly from ABC 13 up here. Oh, is it muted?
Gone.
Yeah.
All that's left is this pole across the street. Another one taken down as well. A criminal justice expert tells me this could be a sign of the growing public unease with this type of video surveillance.
In two different parts of Houston, the same scene, surveillance cameras lying on the ground. Two near Memorial Park, two more near Washington Avenue and Westcott, all part of Flock Safety's automated license plate reader network used by Houston police and other law enforcement agencies. Houston police confirming an investigation into this. While the motive is unknown, the technology itself has drawn criticism in the past from people concerned about the data they're collecting.
What level of frustration have we encountered? Right.
Texas Southern University professor Howard Henderson, founding director of the Center for Justice Research, says the backlash reflects broader concerns over privacy and who ultimately has access to the information these cameras collect.
For many in society, they're looking at what the negative unintended consequences may be if this information gets leaked or someone uses it and finds itself in the wrong hands.
The camera that once stood here is gone. All that's left is this pole across the street. Another one taken down as well. A criminal justice expert tells me this could...
Okay. I never know when it loops.
Yeah.
It loops so well, it's hard to know. But I love his idea of the fears of what might happen. It's like, okay, I'm not worried about what might happen. I am worried about what is actually happening.
Correct.
Because we can make assumptions based on what might happen in the future, like we were talking about earlier. But we don't know specifically what's happening already. We already know, at least in the case in Colorado, you've got a woman falsely accused of something because someone looked like her and her vehicle was seen somewhere nearby. Mind you, they didn't track any other vehicles that were in that area at that time. They found her, weirdly enough. In this case, there's only one thing. You sent me that one. You said another one strikes, or another one bites at us, or another one strikes again. But this other, there's also ABC News. It's a different article. It says more flock cameras cut down in Houston. I assume that it's very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
Video.
And then we had apparently some in Montgomery. That's what somebody told me. I think there's two down there. I don't think the news covered it though.
There's not even that many in Montgomery.
No,
but they're going up more and more.
Right.
I know Fish Creek has a couple out there directly in town. Montgomery definitely does. I've seen them right there by the old elementary school and stuff like that.
But that just speaks
major
to
high
the
traffic
growing
areas.
concerns. I mean, that people they're not going to take it the way I'm doing it. They're not going to go to the meeting every single week and play that route. They're taking justice into their own hands. And I want to say to everybody, I don't condone that at all.
Yeah.
I really don't. I'm trying to go about this the right way, as good as possible. But that just speaks to the frustrations of the people. And then I don't know if y'all know about in UK, the Blade Runners.
Yeah.
They did this 2 years ago in the UK. They showed us up. Those guys cut them things down within weeks.
The UK is slightly ahead of us on some things.
They are on some things.
But because they've been under a police state for a minute.
Right.
But one thing I would like to point out is we briefly touched on last episode. I want to say last week, but it was this week, but last week for the listeners. There was a gentleman who was arrested and charged with actual felonies for the destruction of these cameras. So just to be clear, it is a crime to destroy these. These are both private and city-owned public.
Correct.
Property. because as you mentioned, the ones in front of the stores, those are privately owned. So you would have a direct case via Target or whatever and Flock for destroying their stuff, not just the city coming after you, not just maybe even the state might have some in open highways for all we know. But
and from what I've seen, the DA also comments on, they will prosecute you to the fullest extent the law allows.
Absolutely.
So they're not playing when it comes to vandalizing these cameras.
Yeah.
That's why we're working so hard with the Texas legislator and the city councils around here is to get it done completely in Texas. Get rid of it in Texas the right way.
Yeah, because there are cities that have already banned them. Around the country.
And successfully.
Successfully, they're gone. As far as we know,
because their
they were
city
removed.
council members took accountability for not understanding the true capability of the cameras and what they had purchased. And they took accountability for that and canceled their contracts. And our city has an opportunity to do that tonight, and I'm going to call for it. There's a specific clause that lets us walk away scot-free. It's 11-1. It's in their contract. It lets us walk away scot-free. We don't owe them nothing. We can cancel our contract today. That's what I will be asking tonight at our city council meeting.
Yeah, and I agree with that. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I think we need to look back on and kind of follow the same steps that were taken when we banned red light cameras across the state.
And did you hear the part yet that they funded this initial startup program? So I believe the 10 that you had pulled up, that was funded by the red light camera fund that apparently we just randomly had. Yeah. So that is a part of, I only sent you 2 files. I have 16 files like that. So there's a lot of paperwork.
I figured this wasn't all you had, but
but
this is a good way to
in the funding, the first initial 10 were funded by the red light camera fund. So in my opinion, unconstitutional money sitting in an account that nobody knew that you had, and you used our money from our tickets that the state agreed was not allowed to fund the
money,
new surveillance system.
Yeah, and this is I wanted to touch back on the vandalization thing right before we wrap up, because something you've also looked into. One was the initial cost of the cameras, which is about $5,000 years ago, and now we know that replacement cost plus subscription costs and all these other things, it compiles. However, because these are more than likely being paid for by tax dollars, by vandalizing these things, they do have to be replaced, which in theory, if it's a minor thing, it could be like it can be a quote unquote affordable replacement rather than having to buy an entirely new install and all that other stuff. It can be less, but that is still money coming from the taxpayers. So
they're just going to replace them.
And they're just going to replace it. So that not only are you going to be caught, because ironically, it's a surveillance camera. You're going to be caught tearing it down somehow, some way.
If photos its own demise.
Well,
that actually, a lot of them used to do that.
While we're talking about that, it was funny. I don't know if we've covered this yet in the thing, but after that meeting where Flock and them came, I went outside and I talked with them for about 2 hours.
Oh.
And, I recorded that whole thing as well. And I have the transcript and the actual recording. If y'all want, find it on my Facebook. Might have to dig a little bit. But you can find it. But during that, excuse me, I lost my train of thought here. What were we talking about before?
You interviewed him on the cameras and being,
What did you say right before that though? I'm sorry.
Whenever they were taken down or be replaced, and he mentioned they photoed their own device.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, sorry guys. I have like a
You're fine.
thing. But
he's got ADHD. I know.
Yeah, me too. They admitted that I said, they said, oh, our cameras don't take pictures of people. They only take pictures of license plates and cars. That's what triggers them. Then once I showed them that your patent literally says they're motion sensors, they said, okay, they do take still images. So, but they're not of people. And I was like, but if a person walks past it, that means it's taking a picture, right?
Can literally take.
And so they tried dodging around it. And finally, I said, look, I'm gonna come across real clear here for you. I said, so you're saying if I went up to your camera and I destroyed it, that you wouldn't be able to find me because it doesn't take pictures of people. That's what you're telling me, right? And he goes, well, we got to be realistic here.
The will and the butt.
Yeah,
anytime there's a will and a butt.
We got to be realistic here. And that told me everything I needed to know.
Yeah. And you're, exactly. Because the speeding cameras, anything else like that in the UK. There was a big thing against that many years ago, even on Top Gear. They're talking about how people were cleverly destroying them, blah blah blah. All those people got caught because there was always a camera,
of course,
facing the camera. Like, and a lot of them, they started installing monitor cameras just to watch the machine from the outside.
Yeah.
So
cameras to watch the camera.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I saw a police department in somewhere in Texas just put out a thing. Their cameras got cut down as well, and they straight up put on their posts like, "Hey, we're gonna prosecute you to the fullest extent." But also, by cutting these down, you're making us put another one across the street to watch that camera.
Yeah,
I swear.
absolutely.
So that's what they said. So like, you're gonna get double the cameras.
Yeah, and so you're actually expanding the
So
surveillance.
it's a Hydra.
Yeah, literally. I mean,
yeah. Don't cut them down. Plain and simple.
So don't cut them down.
It's like, we'll just say don't.
Yeah, just
don't.
It's a felony,
the meme,
guys.
the don't meme. Put
Literally.
the don't meme up.
I wish we would have had the foresight to get my dad on the phone. I would have liked to hear a career peace officer's take on these flock cameras.
If only we had a way to call your dad.
We can.
That's up to you. We still have a lot to cover, but we can get his opinion later because obviously James is going to come back and talk more.
Right.
Because also we're going to need an update.
Yep.
After this,
No,
so
we
you're
can,
welcome.
we can do it next time.
Yeah, anytime you want to come back, it's fine. But
actually, getting Dad to sit in on with us would be nice.
I like your dad.
Bring him in.
I like Tom.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good dude. So in reality, people vandalizing these things, people destroying these things is actually going to cost the taxpayer even more. Not only do they have to replace it, they're going to have to put up another one to watch it, or at least some other type of surveillance camera to watch it. And also you're going to give them an excuse to upgrade it if it's an old one.
Yep.
So it's only going to get worse.
It only hurts the progress that we're making.
And that's always going to cost more money for the next one.
Right.
And you think they're going to add a punishment fee in there if a certain area of cameras probably get destroyed. If I had to guess, they'll be like, well, this area keeps going up, so we're just going to go ahead and throw on another fee for the taxpayers. And as you pointed out, $500,000 just for 1 month in just this.
No, that's
city.
1 year.
It's 1 year.
Oh, 1 year. I thought you did 1 year. Okay, so.
And that's minimum.
And as we already said, the best way to
probably $750,000 after all the fees.
Oh, easily. So the best way to go about these things, talk to your lawmakers, your local city councils. If they're not going to listen, go above them, find out who your local rep is, because they're the direct line to your state legislature. And that's where it really has to go. Like, if you can get your city to ban them, great. But if the state of Texas has already banned, like, as a state, the red light cameras, where you realize, oh wait, and by the way, I never got a refund for my ticket that I got.
Right.
You know, why not?
They bought the cameras. They bought the flock cameras.
Yeah. So my point is that if I paid into getting a red light ticket, I should have got paid back for that. That was just one side point. But the idea is that we don't know what this data is being used for. We can guess based on how other data collection gets used. We already see instances of them using it to prosecute people incorrectly. We're seeing evidence where the cameras are actually screwing up court cases because they're relying specifically on the technology, and they shouldn't be, because also false accusations. Like, okay, just for instance, the Charlie Kirk preliminary hearings are going on right now. They're doing everything in their power to say that Tyler Robinson was not the one who killed Charlie Kirk, but they're basing it off of different evidence. They already tried to excuse all of the cameras on campus. They're like, well, how do you prove that's him? Well, we can follow from camera to camera to camera. That's on a singular campus with whatever crappy security cameras they have, or the incredibly high-res cameras they have in the main hallways for that reason. Now, you combine that with, that was Utah, so I don't know if Utah has flock, but I have to assume. So if they integrated with the flock system just for this case, they could track that car all the way across 3 hours and figure out exactly who was driving it when and how they got there. But if they're already going to dismiss this side, well, this camera clearly wasn't good enough footage. How could we know what happened? It's from 200 yards away. They can find any excuse to take this technology to use for or against. So the point is, if it becomes a all-encompassing or completely neutral tool, then it should just be gone.
Right.
And it's not that I don't think that it can have benefits.
Right.
I think as long as there's a profit motive, and I'm not the anti-capitalist or anything like that, but as long as the concept of safety is driven by a capitalistic nature, then it's always going to come back to hurt the people at the bottom.
Of course.
And always benefit the people at the top. And, we were talking earlier off camera how, like, I'm a fairly moderate person, and like you say it's like, well, I'm not a Democrat, not really a Republican. I see benefits on both sides and all this stuff. And you're still a young dude, compared to us, we're old heads. But just the idea that we have this modern surveillance state. And I think you might have posted, maybe somebody else did, where they're talking about how we rag on China.
Yeah, I posted that.
Yeah. But they're using it for the very specific surveillance and police state. And they have the social credit system built into it. You jaywalk, the camera catches you, finds you, takes the money directly out of your account, and then limits you somehow, all without you doing a single thing.
And that's my fear here. That is actually my fear here, because, again, we can talk about what might happen in the future. And, I, like you said, I don't like doing that. I like talking about what's at fact now, but that is an actual legitimate fear of mine. We're following the same patterns where I think social credit scores are next. And
they already do it.
I don't mean, like I'm not even playing when I say that. I really do think that's coming.
I mean, it already happens with cancel culture.
Yep.
Like, you get debanked if you say the wrong thing.
Right.
And you get prosecuted, or if they can't prove you did anything wrong legally, they say you did something wrong morally against the greater good. Right. And therefore, you are removed from polite society, even though all you did was put out a bad tweet.
Yep.
We've seen this happen already in America.
Oh, of course.
And we're not even talking about what the UK does to people about Facebook posts.
Right.
Where people are literally, I think it's 15,000 people last year.
Going to jail.
Just for Facebook posts.
Right. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, 15,000. That's 2025.
Well, how much more freedom are we willing to give up
for more freedom?
At least the facade of safety.
Yeah. No, and that's the biggest question. And
somebody once said that, something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how far are we willing to go here, right? Like,
and it's not safety. It's just a facade.
It's temporary safety. And it's a facade, like you said. It's
the illusion.
It's smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, a small amount of crime solved to put up, 90,000 cameras across America.
They say these are going to be used for, finding stolen vehicles, finding missing persons, finding this and that they're claiming.
Right.
I guarantee you it's going to be a vastly disproportionate amount of usage between what they claim and what they actually use it for.
Oh yeah, and I saw that in the meeting where they came. It was I liked the presentation.
It's like 20% or something.
Well, here's what my thing is they showed us, like we were talking earlier about the license plate, right? They read 14, million, whether it be a day or a week. I forgot the figure. But they also, during their presentations, told us how many vehicles a month pass through that are stolen vehicles, missing people, or whatever. And that gets flagged by the Flock system. I think we've all agreed that that's great, right?
Yeah.
But in that presentation, not once did they mention, of these 76 vehicles that were stolen that passed through the county, how many of them did we recover? Because I know that the statistic was so low, they didn't include it in their, presentation.
A key about that is they might catch the person, but they may never recover the vehicle.
Right.
Or because it becomes evident, it never goes back to the person. Almost never. But I did want to go back to the quote because it was Benjamin Franklin who said this. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety.
Yes.
Yep.
And that's where we're at. Like, you give up, it's like, okay, cool, I'll give up a tiny bit of freedom if it means that we can find more criminals. And you're right. That sounds great.
Right.
Except that it's never going to be a little.
When at the same time utilizing the same amount of money to field more peace officers,
right,
field more training, to get better tools in their hands.
But they can't
would
do
be
that.
Vastly more effective.
And every single day that these cameras stay up, they are learning more, training themselves more, gathering more data.
Yeah.
Day by day, every single day literally matters. And I think that a lot of people don't understand that. It is training upon the way AI
every
works.
Minute
every minute,
yeah,
it trains itself, right? So it's learning as it goes, as these license plates, as these crimes are passing through, it's learning. And like we said, that this thing hallucinates. We don't know that it's going to be necessarily accurate. We saw a woman right here. We don't know that our police officers are going to use it accurately.
Yeah, clearly they did.
Clearly, right?
Yeah.
And then their excuse to that is, well, I shouldn't be responsible for my technology because somebody else misused it.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I think you should take some level.
And there's another quote that applies to that instance in Colorado: trust, but verify.
Yeah,
they didn't verify.
No.
Nope. They didn't work on the back end.
Even though, and then
like you said, they got a fun new tool.
Yeah, they got a tool.
And they blindly followed. So they drove into a lake.
So here's the thing: Did they choose to blindly follow it, or were they told to blindly follow it because it cost them $200 million over the next 5 years?
Well, he was pretty adamant. He seemed like he was just.
But what I'm saying is, was he ordered, hey, this is the thing. This is, you go by this. Because to be that foolhardy and that what's the word?
Naive?
Cocksure. You're so cocksure that no, 100% it was you. Even though in the video given from the house that was stolen from, you can't see that person's face.
No.
At all. She's wearing sunglasses. She's got her hair in a ponytail. And similar-ish build. But then when you see a video of the woman on the day at her friend's house, when she couldn't have been, it's a completely different outfit, not the same kind of build, just whatever. So it's profiling done by a computer told to humans who were said, yeah, trust the computer.
Yep.
Go by the computer. But I guarantee you there's probably 2 cops who said, hey, I don't think this is right. And they were told to shut up or else.
Yep.
Because we have to go by the thing. Now, I'll tell you, just in this AI-centric world, in my job field, which I don't say who I work for legal reasons, but we have an AI system that we are told we have to follow within a certain percentage. And if we don't, we are punished. Because they've spent so much money developing it, they said, you will follow it or else. Whether it's right or wrong,
right,
follow it. And if we're talking in the legal sense now, where people's lives are on the line, we all know these surveillance cameras can identify lots of things. If they can follow a specific dent on your vehicle, they'll know exactly what's in your pocket when you're walking around by the shape of the outline of your back pocket and what you probably have on you. And then it says, oh, Hefe today said the wrong thing on Facebook, but I know what weapon he's got in his right front pocket by how he's walking, because we already know these cameras can measure gait. We already know all these things. We already know all of these things. We know that they can watch. One thing I wanted to bring up with the Raven. You heard how they caught or found that one guy in Iran, right? That got shot down.
The heartbeat technology.
The heartbeat technology. Whoa. They said that they had something whisper, where the satellite Ghost murmur. That's what it was. Yeah, the ghost murmur, where they could identify his specific heartbeat and where he was, so that they could find him on a mountaintop away from the thing before people could get to him. Now, mind you, that's a rumor that somebody probably told us. Odds are it was actually just drone footage was tracking him the whole time, but to scare our enemies, they came up with this kick-ass technology. Except we know these things exist. Yeah. We know these things exist because you're talking about gunshot microphones. It's tuned to pick up the specific sounds of frequency and identify an exact sound. Combine that with AI technology. I have that just in my editing software, where I can say, okay, cool, here's how an exact word sounds, and it identifies the frequency. It can scan an entire video, locate that exact frequency, and change it to something else. You're talking about hallucinating.
Right.
I'm not so worried about the AI just randomly coming up with stuff. I'm worried about how it can be manipulated by people hacking. You did say we could talk about the hacking thing. We've already seen how people can gather data and see what they're doing and realize what the coding already is built in, right?
Yep.
The electronic engineering, not just the mechanical engineering, right?
Yep.
So what are cases where people have hacked these cameras so far?
Yeah, so we'll start off with, giving some examples. The one that bothers me is, the ones by children's swimming pools. That has been reported. It's a well-known story. Somebody hacked into them, was watching a children's swimming pool, which we all know is disgusting. But I want to speak onto a local level, and nobody else has heard this yet.
Okay.
So you guys are first exclusives here.
Excellent.
I sent the council about 3 weeks ago a 3 or 4 page packet entailing exactly how to hack their system 4 different ways.
Okay.
And I gave them a play-by-play, exactly how you do it, exactly how one would do it, step by step. And a
layman could do this, not
a layman.
Yeah.
This took me 3 minutes to do. Okay, because now people have access to AI. To tell your viewers how serious it is, all I asked was for this AI to find some vulnerabilities, right?
Sure.
To go search the web,
poke at the walls.
find some vulnerabilities. It took it upon itself to try to hack the whole system. It shut itself down.
Okay.
And I had the AI company call me
Yeah.
to see how I had done that, and kind of, I guess they were trying to figure out flaws in their system.
Yeah.
Literally had my account shut down for like 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
Had to explain to them. Again, you can go back and look what I said. I didn't tell it to do this. I said find vulnerabilities. It kind of took this upon its
And
own self.
it took that in the broad.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, again, I work in the technology space. I have a coworker that's even more technical than me. And so I had him go and, kind of review the exact information it had done. And it turns out that, at least as of today, because I think we checked yesterday, there's still 12 open vulnerabilities. But it's so bad to where I allegedly sent the city their own password to their flock cameras.
Yeah.
And that was readily available
Was it
within
password?
3 minutes.
I won't. Was it password with
I won't
a 3?
say it for the viewers, but it is pretty comical. It was slightly easy.
Well, I hate to tell you, you're already on a watch list.
Oh yeah, probably for sure, man.
Well, now we're on more watch lists.
Yeah, y'all might.
I'm on another one. Yeah.
Well, you're ex-military. You're already on 3.
Yeah, I hope our
you
names
own
are
a lot of
touching at
guns.
least.
You're already on an extra 2. I was on only 1, but we'll see.
I build, so I'm on another one.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that with this information, I was horrified about how quick this was.
Yeah, how easy.
I immediately sent a packet to IT, to the police chief, to the mayor, to the city council, to secretary.
Hey, this is what I found. Fix it, please.
Literally, they acknowledged it.
Yeah.
Like received. I never heard anything back since then. Not a thank you. Not a hey, we've addressed this.
At least it didn't come to your door.
So
which I thought.
I specifically talked
with
to
a whole bunch of pictures.
Yeah, I specifically talked to my lawyer before this, and I had asked him, what's the legality of like this? Like, I really want to warn them. I don't want to tell anybody else about it.
Yeah.
I want to simply like warn them, like, hey, you have these vulnerabilities. But I have not heard anything back from the city on that.
You won't.
And I don't think I will.
One, because if they can admit that, if they would admit that their
that's admitting
system,
they have a flaw.
Yeah,
and they're not going to admit that at all.
It's a huge flaw.
No, what they do is they tell you after the fact. By the way, we identified 11 flaws, and we went ahead and patched them.
I mean, that's
except
what you...
we don't mention the 12th one that they didn't patch.
I mean, you would think so. I didn't hear anything back, and then you
watch. They will be a post about it in 2 weeks when their IT figures it out, even though you've already shown them exactly what to do.
Yep.
And they should be able to engineer the patches, if not work directly with Flock to patch that shit. And then they need, honestly, systems like this need people like yourself, and they used to always have people like yourself.
Well, they need opposition. They need a devil's advocate.
They need to hire people from the outside to think against the way they think.
Of course.
But that also comes down, in my opinion, that is, what's the word I'm looking for? Hubris. Because the ironic part is, what's their name?
Right. Flock.
Safety.
Safety.
Well,
I went through this with a friend of mine. He was trying to develop a certain style of body armor.
Right.
And he'd come to me with ideas, and I'd pick them apart ruthlessly.
Yeah.
And then show him exactly why it wouldn't work and why this was unfeasible and what he needed to change.
Yeah, because we have analytical minds.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the paperwork I submit, I always get the opposition, like opposing person to give me their arguments, like a lawyer to review it and say, I want you as a lawyer to tear this thing apart.
Yeah.
Tear it apart. Tell me everything I'm missing, and then use that data that you learned, or
run this through your chat GPT to tell me what.
No, actual.
That's
lawyers.
what happens nowadays.
Yeah. No,
even
I will say
even
to the
lawyers
people-
are doing that.
Oh yeah, no, lawyers are definitely using AI. Our county attorney is. AI is great, but you also got to have an actual lawyer to represent you and a human to talk about, just like this Flock thing, right? You don't want to hand everything over to an AI, but
Which
to all
is
the
what they
people
say.
out there who do want to get into advocacy, AI is a humongous tool. You can write legal documents, but
it's going to end up being its own worst
yeah,
enemy.
yeah, for sure.
Well,
Yeah.
we talked a lot about it, the AI futures and things like that, and the data centers and how that's a wholly separate problem from what we're at. But guess what? This data, as we're talking about, it's going into some giant brick somewhere.
It has to.
There's a brick somewhere with all of this information, because I can tell you right now, there's not a little mini server downtown that's got this information.
No.
There's a building-sized computer somewhere that is storing all this
And
information.
so if in Conroe, we as one city are doing 14 million scans, whether that be a day or a week, it's one of the two. What is every other city doing? Because again, this is in nearly every city in America now. How much data is that has to be stored every single day, and how much of that data is useless? It's just you and me going to get donuts, right?
And it,
or whatever.
and it did
Useless
say that it
data.
deletes after 30 days.
Oh, and they're going to have to figure out some way to
30
justify
days.
make some income off of that data.
Right, of course. Which
is
eventually
what
they're
they
going to
do.
sell it.
Yeah.
Like we all know that. I mean, we know that they're going to end up probably selling that allegedly.
Well, here's okay. So here, once again, going back to what I was already talking about, data farming and how they use it and how they sell it. My car is beat up, needs a paint job. I'm gonna start getting body shop flyers in the mail.
So
because that's exactly what they do. They find something that is a flaw, quote unquote, and then they sell it to you. They identify the problem and then they'll sell you the fix, but you didn't want the problem or the fix.
Yeah.
But you weren't part of that sale. Right?
On your podcast here, can we do a Google search perhaps?
If we can.
I want you to Google.
I'll do it over here where I can reach
if
things.
some car washes have signed some agreements with ALPRs, and why would car dealerships want information on you going to car washes? So have car washes sign deals with ALPR AI companies.
Hold on, sign deals. Oops, sorry, I can't spell. Deals with AL.
Yeah, it's automatic license plate reader, ALPR cameras. And this is going back to your point. They will make money off of it, and they are making money off of it.
So, just right off the bat here, yes, car washes have extensively signed deals with automatic license plate recognition companies to automate facility access and power targeted marketing. Exactly what I was talking about. So, one, they're tracking the weather, so they know whenever it rains, a lot of people are going to want on a sunny day to do their thing. They're using the license plate readers to identify dirty cars, and they sell the advertising, so it starts pushing towards you. But also at the same time, they'll start doing automatic marketing sales to say, hey, if you come in on July 15th, we're going to have a sale in your area on these things. And then you were talking about dealerships.
Yeah, they're selling that information to dealerships.
Exactly.
Like, how much does this person care about their car? Man, they come get this thing cleaned every single week, man. I mean, so it's
tracking. It's tracking how well you're caring for your car, and if you put that outside of service stations as well, how often are you changing your oil? Not that already isn't going in there.
Right.
But here's an entire website. It's called SureVision. What can license plate recognition (LPR) do for car washes using the power of cutting-edge technology to modernize the customer service reliant businesses? So it's an entire website. Which, by the way, it's giving me the cookie warning, which is already the very beginning of a surveillance state is the cookies, right?
But they're cookies, man. They sound good.
Only from the dark side.
Oh, so the other thing is, so this is an interesting one. Choosing license plate recognition addresses many customer service issues, starting with no more long lines, as it allows operators to get rid of gates, pay stations, agents, tickets, and everything. Now they're talking about using them very specifically when you pull up to a car wash.
With me.
So, but no, that's even funnier though, because you got to think about it. That's in a very limited version, but at the same time, it's tracking your car. In theory, depending on if they're doing a full scan or just the license plate, because if they, and this just in say the rental car business as well, if you were to have say 6 cameras aimed in every direction around your car as you pull into this washing unit, it can track any damage before and after. So it can limit their own liability if any damage occurs to your car, or alter it slightly if they want to. And oh no, that wasn't there. Clearly the camera didn't show it, right? Yeah. So it can eliminate a difference. It can see the before and the after and do all those other things. But like you said, use that with marketing data to say, hey, you haven't been in to get your car washed in a while. Now they already do that. Like I got an automated thing from my dentist the other day. Hey, it's been 4 months since you got a cleaning. I was like, correct, but I also need to come in soon anyways. I think I got a new thing happening. But the idea that, like you're talking about using it for the license plate things. They're tracking people who have old, dirty, busted cars or possibly valuable cars that have a higher trade-in value right now.
There you
go. Hey, bring your car in now. We'll give you top value for it, because right now that's where the market is specifically hot.
So that's why I brought it up, is because not only like they're using it for the gates, obviously, things like that, or
which is fine.
Like you have a membership, I'm going to use your license plate so that it automatically opens.
And that's the same thing that the tolls do.
Right. But it's the fact that we already are seeing these APLRs be used for marketing purposes, right? And I mean, they're pairing with, they're selling their car wash data to dealerships.
Yeah.
So we're already seeing the transfer of data going from this is for our car wash, and now this is commercially available data that we're willing to sell, to car dealerships, like you said, oil change places, whatever, right? And the main point is just showing that, hey, it's already been proven. I mean, it's already happening right now that they're selling this data to,
and those are the
for
private,
profit,
privately owned things.
Private,
like you
yes,
said.
correct.
But once again, as I brought up earlier, why does Target need one?
Yeah, that's and I will say to that, I'll be the devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
Based on what I did talk with them, they said, okay, for example, North Loop 336 here, right?
Yeah.
In the Academy parking lot, there's 6 alone, and then there's
6 in that parking lot,
or 5.
Well, either way, that's more than I
3,
expected.
Yeah, 5.
So
in
all
that
the
parking lot.
all the entrances.
Yes, and like randomly in the middle. It's weird.
Well, that's just so you
Yeah, I'm
can't see
telling you,
movement if
yeah,
you're
go-
only looking at the outside.
Go to Academy soon and look, man. It's really
I
crazy. But
actually
then-
need to go to Academy.
Yeah,
So yeah,
but-
I'm going to
but-
Academy tomorrow. I'll look.
Yeah, go look, and then right in
stuff.
the
Smile and
median-
wave.
Yeah, and then right in the median, there's a another one, and then across the street, there's another one from that. And so I will say they said that the reasoning behind that is that there's a lot of retail theft there, so
Understood,
that they
yeah.
need all those. I mean, that many just seems overkill to me. I don't know. Maybe there is a big problem with retail theft there, but
once again, old school security cameras, people would see where they're aimed at. They'll find a way to duck in and out through the blind spots, right? So if you have 6 from different angles, every entrance, and it's mixed in with that technology to track the vehicle specifically, so you get tied in with the security camera in a store. So now this guy walked out. He went to this specific car, and we saw exactly where that car went. And we could zoom in, we could check out all the details, all this other stuff. We can identify this person, or at least the person who owns the vehicle, right?
Right.
But at the same time, you now know anybody coming through that parking lot, their shopping habits, what stores they're going into, and if it's Academy specific that has it, that's interesting. Not the person who owns the entire strip center, right?
Yeah, that is interesting. I've never thought about that. Like, how did they get approval from the actual strip center, the strip mall owners to actually put them there?
Unless the person who owns Academy is the person who owns
The
the
actual-
strip center,
yeah.
which is usually how those big stores, like
Okay.
Academy's been there a while.
Yeah, maybe that is the case.
So look at it this way, like HEB, right?
Mm-hmm.
HEB owns grocery stores, right?
Right.
No, they own that entire strip center.
Oh, the real estate. Yeah, it's like
they have-
McDonald's.
It's like McDonald's.
Yeah.
So you already know. I guarantee you. Well, I mean, maybe you can guarantee me. There's enough around HEB, but they also know they can track whoever's coming through the strip center,
Right.
whoever's going to Russo's Pizza, whoever's going to the liquor store. Maybe one day they came in, they bought some limes at HEB, they went over, they picked up a pizza at Russo's, they stopped at the liquor store, and they walked out with some tequila.
Right.
So now you know the shopping habits of this person all in one thing. We already know these type of cameras already exist inside grocery stores.
Yep.
Do you know that the coupons you're fed when you check out are based on the areas you were shopping, not by what you bought?
Yeah, have you been seeing the digital price tag stuff too?
Yeah, digital price tags are
Yeah.
insane.
That's insane.
Do you know about this, Heffy?
Mm-mm.
The digital price tags that can change, and this is social credit.
Yes, that's exactly it.
They change. They have it's a new thing they're starting. They're digital price tags that will absolutely change based on you. So it'll say one thing on the shelf, and when you go to check out, it'll change. And it might be based purely on either your actual credit score, how much money you make, where you live, and all these other things. It will raise or lower the cost.
For
And
the
you don't
individual
know any
person.
different.
Yeah.
Right.
Because when you're standing there, it says $2.99 a pound. Next person walks by, oh, it's $3.50 a pound.
Scary times, man.
That's insane. First of all,
Well, how long
that's-
until we're just issued a number that jumps up and down according to your behavior and your interaction
Right.
with other people?
And that's why
We
I'm
have that.
pushing this so hard, man. Is we gotta
called
start
social media.
taking some power back as citizens, man. We gotta. I don't think that we know as citizens how much power we actually hold. I think everybody
not enough.
not enough, but we
Yeah.
together, man. If we had enough people, you have way much more power in your hands
Yeah.
than these
And
people
that's
believe.
why you go to these city council meetings. You organize peaceful protests
Yes.
as best you can, which actually this weekend, where Sean lives, they're having a small protest outside of an apartment complex that's gouging people so that they can charge. They used to be $900 a month. Now they're going to charge $4,000 a month
Whoa.
because of the data center. So they know that these data center workers are going to be paid buttloads of money.
Yep.
So they actually are ending the leases for anybody who's currently there. So no lease will be renewed. The company that owns the data center bought the apartment complex, and they're raising the rates by 200 or 300%. And they're kicking out, not allowing lease renewals for anybody who's currently in it, and they're gouging the price after the fact. Every single trailer park, everything else out there, everybody's raising their prices to the point that this small town in North Texas, basically people who live there can't afford to live there anymore. To the point where Sean said his uncle is the only one with a trailer park at all that did not change his prices.
Yeah.
I would say priced out of paradise, but it's not paradise.
It's not. But the thing is the locals are being run out by temporary people.
Yep.
To the point that in 4 years, when everything's done.
Well, that happened in not Amarillo,
Midland,
Odessa.
yeah. Midland, Odessa, exactly, with the oil and gas.
Well, yeah, they started raising everything out there because they know they're going to
that's
pay
exactly
bank out there.
And during the development phase.
Yep.
But once it's stable and all the workers are gone,
Yeah, it's gone.
There's nobody around, but they dropped the prices.
Well, that hadn't stopped. There's still workers there nonstop.
But that's what I'm saying. But compared to when they're building it.
I mean, hell, you ever been to El Paso?
No.
Nonstop oil and gas.
Yeah.
And
but it's
almost impossible to find.
But it's also oil and gas versus data center.
Yeah.
A one-time build versus a handful of maintenance
like
crew.
A permanent thing. Right?
Yeah. So like they're gonna have 10,000 temporary residents who are all paying 4 times as much as anybody who lives there can afford. So the people who are price gouging are going to get rich or richer. The people who can't afford to live will leave the city. So you're actually going to have a population dump near the end.
Right.
Much like Heffy's going to have to take a population dump here in a minute. But just I'm watching the clock. You know I am. Plus we're creeping up on 2 hours anyways. But just the idea that we're talking about on the very bottom surface of one program being used here versus the literal other end of the spectrum of the AI machine, very literally.
Yes.
Destroying humanity in a very small zone. We're in a reasonable sized city, seeing how AI is being used against the populace in ways that we don't even understand, or we don't even know how it's been sold.
Right.
In the very literal sense. Even to the point that our own city council is agreeing to things probably without ever reading it or with malice.
Well, I want you to think about this when talking about data centers.
Yeah.
You brought this up earlier about our city. We're $660 million in debt because they decided to buy a hotel with our tax dollars.
Yeah.
That failed tremendously.
Yeah.
They spent $170 million on it. It just got appraised for, I don't know what it was, 20 million. 60 million, something like that.
Nowhere near as what the
cost not even
to build it. Yeah.
I think it's 60 million.
And I haven't seen a single thing ever done there.
No,
in this convention center.
But so what do you do as a city, right? When you're $660 million in debt, you start selling yourself out to corporate interest. So we've already seen that they tried to build like a smokestack and a pipeline with the Blackfin over there by Bartlett Furniture.
Yeah,
they shut that down.
Yep.
Citizens did.
Yes.
Mayor did help a little bit there. I'll give Duke that.
Yeah.
But
he did good on
they start selling out to big interest. So you don't think the data centers are going to come in the corner? We got a beautiful lake with a
there's a Kios against the data center, so he's pushing against that hard.
Good, man.
Yeah, so
I mean,
he's been posting about that nonstop.
Yeah,
because
I started that fight.
Where would they stick it?
Near
the lake, probably.
Right by the power plant.
Right by the power plants.
So that's what I was going to say.
And you know how many people they'd have to displace to do that?
Yeah.
About 700.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, though,
at
guys.
the end of Long Street.
I started with the flock, and then my side project was the data centers.
Yeah.
I did a whole interview with Fox 26. I gave them 26 pages of data center research. I know where they're going to be put.
Yeah.
But I'm not even going to talk about it because it was so hard to fight. It's so hush-hush, so NDA'd that it's impossible to prove.
Yeah.
But I can tell you it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming here. It's already in the works.
Yeah.
It's just
but people
how to prove it.
People need to fight it.
People have to fight it.
And the only way they can fight it is if they know it's going to happen. They can't fight it after it's already happened.
And when you're talking about a $1 billion project, which is the one that I'm thinking of specifically, you know what?
Sure.
Viewers, go out there, look up the CTEX Running Bear Strait project. It's a terminal line that they're building, a $1.3 billion terminal line going from Lake Livingston to terminating right here on Lake Conroe on Long Street Road.
Wow.
So it's a substation.
That's a
big
line.
A huge line, and it is man, I don't want to say false figures here because I don't have my piece of paper with me, but The exact voltage of that line is very, very specific. There's only one thing that line is used for, and that's hyperscale data centers.
Yeah.
Energy Texas specifically has 2 data centers already. They have one in Arkansas, one in Louisiana. We are following with that Running Bear project the exact, step-by-step verbiage in their language, the line itself, the infrastructure. It is line in line exactly what they did with their 2 data centers they already have.
Yeah.
It's a $1.3 billion project, though. And so do you think that one single person is going to stop $1 billion investment?
No.
You can't. So whenever this got brought to the news, they gave a very vague statement that was enough to shut the news down. This isn't my first time talking with them either.
Yeah.
And it killed the whole story because they said this is going to be used for just the growing, it's a growing area, so we need more power over here. New homes,
What's that going to do to our infrastructure?
Right, exactly.
If there's another freeze or something like that, those are going to take priority over the citizens.
Right. And so then I saw a news story saying that, they're gonna, like you just said, they're gonna have to tie in with the Texas power grid. We have a very unique power grid here compared to the rest.
Stupid is the word. Yes.
Right. And so we don't have. So I guess that they're building these lines to extend the load that we can have.
Stupid, no. Antiquated, yes.
Yeah. No. It's
well, the
crazy,
fact
man.
that it's not isolated system, it's all networked. It's dumb.
Yeah.
Like what the big freeze proved to us exactly how bad our system was.
Oh yeah, it's terrible. And so now you're gonna add data centers, hyperscale data centers, server facilities, all on the same network.
And you know what? And to just wrap the topic. Sorry, I gotta cut you off because you gotta get out of here because the point is proven.
Yeah.
So everybody go check out the Running Bear project.
Yeah, go look up that.
But if they could get the approval and remove the regulations for little mini nuclear pods, and we could power the data centers anywhere we want, that's nowhere near people,
right?
Nowhere near major situations, and have their own basic infrastructure to do their thing, fine. Putting them in a highly populated fucking area that's going to displace hundreds, if not thousands, destroy local anything, and much like what we mentioned already with what's going on in Childress. So imagine here, where rent is already too damn high. Like, it's already gone up $200 a month here, just in the last couple of years. If they add that, it's going to be exactly the same. To move in the workers, which they'll need less in this area realistically because there's a lot of people here.
Right.
But if they start raising rent on homes, which they're already doing, as they start raising rent on all the apartments, which they're already doing, nobody's going to be able to afford to live in this fucking county.
Well,
and it's fucking
they're going to be
absurd.
bugging me.
Yep. That's always been like, at what point
I don't know why they wouldn't put it in New Waverly. There's nothing in New Waverly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Stick it out in Lake Wildwood. Nobody gives a shit.
I like the one that we have in Montgomery. It's in a bunker. Nobody cares about that one because it's underground in a bunker.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
the
don't know about that?
No, I mean, I knew something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, there's a whole. It's been here for years.
But that's what it should be.
Well, they
Yeah,
buried it to help maintain and mitigate the temperature.
Well, not only that, it was a Chinese billionaire who owned it before, and then it was like his shelter, during the.
So
Cold
he had
War
a
and all that.
bunker, and they just said, put a data center.
Yeah. So before that, it was a server facility for like AT&T. Some of the airlines.
Put it at the bottom of Lake Conroe.
Hey,
all right, but he's got to go.
I got to go. Love y'all. Okay, bye.
Yep.
Great
Yes,
meeting.
sir.
Yep.
We'll catch you next time.
Don't forget your dog.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't get you any food. You forgot your Tupperware. No birria for you.
Later, bud.
Yep. Sorry, a very specific cutout.
Nice.
And I can't seem to hit the right button. There we go. I was trying to find the 1-3 cameras. Either way, I was trying to wrap up for his sake, but it's fine. We'll go just a little bit longer while we're talking about it. But just this idea that, and mind you, we started with a very small problem, and now we're going a bit global. But
Yeah.
to suck it back down to at least this.
Yeah.
The idea that these cameras, also, I do like the bird theme now that I know what that is. It's kind of funny. I didn't know it went that far. So like, you've been massively informative, and that's one reason why I'm so happy that you're at least doing these things publicly and not like having this little tiny private battle that nobody's going to ever know about.
Right.
Because you can post on Facebook, you can put it on Instagram and all these other places, and you can get the word out, or you're talking directly to the news.
Right.
Like, I didn't know any of that. Like,
Yeah.
almost nothing you've told me I've known.
Oh yeah.
At all. Like, I've got this like tiny little inkling of things because I'm worried about my own stupid nonsense, right?
Yeah.
Now, I don't care that much about the taxpayer stuff. It's bad, but I don't see it. I don't think about it.
Right.
But then we talk about all these issues. We start talking about all these other things. We already know the corruption going on about the hotel. We already know something went down there that doesn't make any sense to anybody from the outside.
Right.
It all needs explanation. And while we have these flock cameras, what are they being used for? Why has this happened? Can we even see proof that they have had any positive effect within our city? Can we even file for that information? You know what I mean? Like, can we go to CPD and be like, hey, how many crimes have been solved with these cameras that we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on?
Well, if you want that public information, it'll cost you $1,271.
Yeah, no, I saw your post about the money. Yeah,
there you go.
So if they can prove that information, and it goes back to safety and liberty, right? So the point is, can we prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that there's a benefit to society that we'd be willing to pay?
Right.
Or are we paying for something that is slowly dragging us down and we don't even know we're in the undertow?
Right.
Right?
And that's been what we've told them over and over, several people, not just myself. You must make a proving and compelling case that tells us with 100% certainty that we should be giving up our liberties for this safety. You better have a proving and compellable case that you guys are solving a significant amount more of crime to where our streets are spotless. We have no missing kids. We have no missing cars. Or at least, 70% reduction or 50% reduction.
No homeless people.
Yeah, right. Like whatever.
Cars.
Yeah, whatever it be. Like that better be the case. And to me, even after their presentation, that case has not been made to me.
I didn't even see the presentation, but I could tell you, there's not going to be a thing.
No,
it's like, and they'll be like, oh, well, what's significant? I'm like, anything above 80% would be a great number.
Yeah, that'd be a great number.
But they're probably, if at best, they're probably like 3%.
Yeah. I mean,
and they're outstanding. And I bet you there's like 2% solved and like 40% waiting.
Right. And that's what I wanted to know was, okay, you showed during their presentation, they showed, okay, we do this many scans, 79 vehicles came through. How many of those did you stop? How many of those vehicles did you recover? Cool. They passed through our town. But I love how they left out that figure out of everything. How many of these did we actually
We identified 79 vehicles passing through the city one way or the other that were involved in a crime in some fashion. And
right.
It's like,
it's like cool, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
And then what?
Right.
It's like,
and that hasn't been proved to me. But yeah, no, man, it's a complex issue. It's somewhat controversial, even though I really don't believe it should be.
I don't even understand where controversy would come from.
I don't know.
Because
and half of the time, I don't know if it's Flock's own people commenting, because I did figure out that they do that during this process of discovery.
Oh, of course.
They're all over any of your neighborhood, or like, your I Love Conroes, or your,
of course.
They are on there. I can tell you with 100% certainty. I heard it from them themselves.
Yeah.
I can confirm. So like half the time, I don't know if it's like actually community pushback or if it's just one of their henchmen like coming out.
Or just bots.
Yeah, or just like a bot, right? Because
I mean, hello.
We know that like 40% of the time you're arguing with a bot.
If they have robot cameras, you're telling me they couldn't have bots on Facebook,
sure, man.
Or paid people in India?
They're very annoying bots. Oh gosh.
Well, they all are,
man.
Well, I mean, just on a personal level, I shared a post from our church in a Woodlands group, and there was so much pushback. I'm just like, are these real people who are actually mad at the fact that I posted about our church, or is this bots just complaining about anything? And we already know, I'm starting to get around to dead internet theory is probably mostly real, and it's getting more and more real by the day.
Oh, of course.
Because AI has become so prevalent. If AI was isolated from the internet, it would be useless.
Yeah.
So it has to be on the internet to know things. And they're already being used to be pushing advertising. It's like most of the advertising you get online from people is more than likely just bots. Right?
Yeah.
And so, no, that's great. These flock cameras are doing everything. And like positive readouts on these things. Like, I don't even know what this is, but you are so invested in what it is that you can give me a positive review of why a camera watching your every move is important. And we've made plenty of arguments, obviously to the contrary for everything, but I've yet to, in this discussion so far, I've yet to see anything that could come from it that would make me go, yeah, that's cool. We should do that.
Yeah.
Or why we should have so many.
Yeah, I think that's the main thing. If it was, on just a couple on 105, maybe one on 40, understandable.
Every
man.
major
Yeah,
thoroughfare.
like that would be maybe understandable, but the volume is what worries me. I do have to get to that city council meeting soon, so we are gonna have to wrap up
100%,
soon.
yeah.
But
Yeah, that's not a problem.
yeah.
We're not going to go for hours anymore,
No, you're
but
good.
it's fine. But just that I didn't even expect us to go this long.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much more about it than I would even guess. That the way it might be abused, the way that it currently is being used, that doesn't make a lot of sense. The hidden features, quote unquote, which is important to note
Right.
that it doesn't do that, but inside your own code, it says it can.
Right. But we're not doing it because our CEO.
But we're not doing it.
Right.
Oh,
He's a good guy.
Well, good. You aren't doing this. But as you were saying earlier about the whole thing, it's the trust us, bro.
Yeah, no, that's literally what they told
trust
us.
us,
Straight up. That is there's no written anything. No, we're solely going on trust us. Our CEO is a cool guy. That was the whole basis of my conversation with the actual flock representatives,
Wow.
in which you can find transcribed on my Facebook. There's a whole video on Facebook. Trust me, bro.
I would like to see how far the data travels.
Me too.
Like it locally fine, but we know that they just have it.
Right.
And they can choose what to do with it. And it said it's supposed to be deleted automatically after 30 days. Okay, but what if they just randomly needed a case from 31 days ago? Be like, hey, do you still have this footage? Oh, yeah. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, you said it was deleted after 30 days.
Right.
No, the non-important data is deleted. Well, who gets to determine what's important and what's not?
We have a guy working on that very specific issue right now, actually.
It's like, who gets to set what matters and what doesn't? Who gets to determine any of the other stuff?
Right.
And also,
or all the people caught in the process of that too. Like in the process of finding that crime, how many innocent people were videotaped or done in the process? Where does that data go?
Yeah.
So I don't know if I phrased that right, but we got a guy working on that very specific issue.
But it's just the idea that we're handing over our security
right
to a thing that you would think is a neutral arbitrator, but it's only as neutral as the people in charge of it.
Right.
But that's why you should have actual police out there doing their job.
And that's what we're pushing for.
And that's what we should have. If we spent the money that we spent on these cameras
on officers,
just having new officers that are well trained, well paid, and well equipped, I would be much happier. And we could show a positive outcome for the investment.
Yep.
What is the return on investment for these cameras? I want to know whose pocket locally has gotten bigger because of these cameras.
That is what we are soon to find out.
Good.
I'll tell you that much.
And if we get that information in an upcoming episode, there's your teaser, perhaps.
Yes.
And so, either way, thank you so much for coming by, James. I know I was just a stranger on Facebook hitting you up, but then I mentioned Son, and you're like, oh, you're not that big of a weirdo. It's like, Son. It's like, okay, cool.
I'm happy to do it, man. Thank you for inviting me here. I like to come to any opportunity to educate people, talk about this issue. I take it every time, and I'm glad that you invited me to be here today.
Yeah.
We covered a lot today, not even just flock, just a lot in general. So hopefully we get a chance to come back, and we got a lot more to talk about.
Yeah. And then obviously, if you want to come back talk about the hotel thing, by all means.
Yeah.
I want more information on that, because ever since I caught wind of it, I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I would like to know.
Oh, yeah.
Because that seems like something the populace should have had a opinion on. It's like, hey, I would wonder. And I even made the joke a while back when we first discovered it. It was like, cool. Anybody who lives in Conroe should be able to take use of that hotel for free.
I thought the same thing. You should have 1 weekend. If you use my tax dollars, you better give me at least 1 weekend free.
There should be some benefit to the taxpayer.
So I did another independent investigation where I went and stayed there because, like I said, I'm building kind of a case on this hotel thing.
Yeah.
And so I went and stayed there, and I gotta say, it's pretty nice.
It is nice.
But it's like, why would you build this here? Like, I'm not by any means.
And I mean, like, specifically,
you cannot see it from the road.
No.
You can't. I mean, the location is horrible.
People confuse it with the college
the Sam
campus.
Houston College campus.
Yeah.
And I can see why, because it looks like they hired the same architect to build.
Oh, it looks like it's all part of it. I didn't realize when
Yeah.
they were building it. I'm like, wait, that's not part of the...
No.
Okay, and then it ties into everything else. And you can't tell me all of that probably wasn't planned out when they sold Camp Strake all those years ago.
Yeah, exactly. And that Grand Central Park, all that, man. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there. So we'll do another episode.
And the fact that they're planning on continuing those main roads to reconnect Conroe and Magnolia at some point.
Really?
Yeah. So
I've actually been waiting for that, so I can't even like.
That's not a
that I do.
That's
I'm
not
like,
a complaint, but they took a road that used to exist.
Okay.
So Old Conroe Magnolia Road used to go from 1488 all the way to Sergeant Ed Holcomb.
Yeah.
And they connected via the river. At some point, it was disconnected. But supposedly, through Grand Central, they're supposed to be reconnecting to Old Conroe, where they've made that massive development on that side. But of course, the river's in the interim, so obviously it's a problem. But who would make money from that, and how many flock cameras would end up on that? Because now you've got intercity back roads. So either way, guys, make sure you do that like and subscribe thing. Go follow James and all his exploits, and make sure you're following anybody who's involved with the investigations into the Conroe City Council if you're remotely interested. And by the way, if you guys are hearing this and you know something we don't, or you're involved in a different fight, by all means, hit me up here. Go hit me up on the Facebook, over on the Now You Made It Awkward podcast on Facebook. We didn't do the stuff over there, or on Instagram at Naimia_pod, or if you want to hit up the email at NowYouMadeItAwkwardMail@gmail.com. So you can send anything like that to us here if you want to reach out, or if you know James and you're part of the fight and you want to also come on. Hey, our door's open. We can also come to you. I have a whole mobile setup. And by the way, if you're not doing anything on Saturday and you want to come join the Lions show, by all means, come out to Mad Llama. We're going to have a good time.
Cool.
And of course, guys, go follow me at _Shoky. Go follow Hefe at Grounded and Grumpy. Go check out C4 Graphics if you need any sign work or anything else like that done by Chad. Of course, he's not here because he's out in the ocean. He should be on his way back sometime soon. He's on a cruise. I hope he's having bad weather right now. I'm just kidding. I hope they make it back safe. But he did leave in the middle of an important week for us. Right. So it is what it is. Love you, Chad. But we'll see you guys next time. And with that, okay, bye.
Thank you, guys.
Say okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
There you go. I didn't prep you for that one.
No, you're good.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots, and a sexy body full of tats.
I'm a resident of Conroe. In reviewing the files that were provided to Mr. Fletes in response to the TPIA public records released on May 11, 2026 pertaining to the flock cameras, I am left with serious concerns regarding the lack of transparency and oversight regarding the use of these license plate readers. A few of my additional concerns include the following. The fact that the flock pilot program was started in secret in October 2020. There was no public notice or council vote on the matter, and the first action on record was in March 2022. I don't know about you, but when I sign a contract, I thoroughly review it and make sure that I understand what I am agreeing to. In reviewing the flock contract, I can't help but think that the individuals responsible for executing this contract on behalf of the city of Conroe either didn't read the contract, didn't understand it, or did not understand what was contained in the document. How can individuals that have been given the responsibility to act in good faith and care for the residents of Conroe, number one, agree that Flock can use all of our data for any purpose they choose? These are not my words. This is found in Section 4 of the October 2020 contract that was executed. Number two, agree that if Flock causes harm, by example, by ways of data breach, misuse, or wrongful ID, their maximum legal liability is capped at $100. Who do you think the individuals that are harmed will sue? The residents of Conroe's taxpayer dollars will be on the hook. Who should actually be on the hook for these lawsuits? Not the residents of Conroe. The 2-year contract was signed on 3/10/2022, and the 5-year contract was signed on 9/11/2024, at which time there was not a public vote on the matter nor a period for comment. Number three, no competitive bidding occurred on the matter of these cameras because the city was told that competitive bidding was not required per the vendor's word. The last time I checked, we are not living in the early 1900s where deals were made by word of mouth and a handshake. When I'm getting my roof repaired, I obtain at least 3 bids. Why was this not done on such a large contract? The lack of transparency on the acquisition of these cameras, their true capabilities, and the legal liability that they expose the city of Conroe to is unacceptable. As a resident of this city, I refuse to allow my taxpayer funds to be spent all willy-nilly. Our city cannot have more funds mismanaged, as was the case with the Hyatt Hotel project.
Mayor, Council, my name is Josh Graff, and I'm a Conroe City taxpayer, and I'd like to discuss flock safety. Several weeks ago, the police chief and flock safety reps gave a presentation. I'd like to discuss a few things that they left out. So we had a discussion with them out in the hallway for about an hour. And we learned that first, the flock cameras do in fact take photos of people. And we have a recording of them saying this. These are motion activated cameras. So whatever comes in front of it that makes the motion is the thing that gets taken, the picture is taken of. So it could be a car, it could be a bird, it could be a person, it could be the golf cart. And what happens is that their AI system creates 2 buckets, one for the license plates and one for all the rest of the data and pictures and photos. Flock does not currently have a policy to tell local governments about all this data that was originally captured. I pressed them on this in this conversation. Second, some data is deleted within days, but not all of the data is actually deleted in 30 days. All data that is connected to a search in the system is saved indefinitely, never deleted. That means there could be thousands of innocent citizens' license plate data, including their locations, that is stored forever without their consent. These 2 realities alone should deem them disqualified and unusable by a government entity. Therefore, I respectfully ask that you terminate your contract with Flock Safety and get back to liberty-minded decision-making. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Ms. Jennifer Ward.
Really appreciate it, and I believe that tells to you and the council's character, which we really appreciate. I did want to speak again tonight on the same topic I spoke on last time. I do have a couple of different things I'd like to say tonight that I did not get a chance to last time. Last time I quoted Benjamin Franklin. This time I'd like to quote the Constitution itself. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrants shall issue but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the place to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. That's our Fourth Amendment. The Supreme Court has had to keep applying the Fourth Amendment to technology the founders never could have imagined, but definitely prepared for. 2012, United States versus Jones, they ruled that strapping a GPS tracker to someone's car without a warrant is a search. In 2018, Carpenter versus United States said pulling someone's cell phone location history needs a warrant too, because that kind of data builds what the court itself called an all-encompassing record of a person's life. And the Supreme Court told lower courts to pay attention to more sophisticated tracking systems as they come along. I would say that's exactly what Flock is. Last week, June 29th, they did it again. Chattree versus the United States. Police used a geofence warrant to sweep up the location of every cell phone near a Virginia bank robbery, including people who had nothing to do with it. 6-3, the court said that's not how this works. You don't get to cast a net over an entire area and call it law enforcement. And it's not just the Supreme Court. The Fourth Circuit Court struck down Baltimore's citywide aerial surveillance program back in 2021 for the same exact reason. Tracking every, pardon me, one of these days I'll get better at this. Tracking everybody's movements with nobody specifically suspected of anything. Jones, Carpenter, Chattree, Baltimore, different technology every time, same answer every time. The government does not get to watch everyone just because it finally has a tool that lets it. Flock's cameras log every plate, every car, every person who drives through this city, whether they're suspected of anything or not. On top of citizens being uncomfortable with being watched all the time, You've now got a stack of rulings going back over a decade aimed straight at programs exactly like this one. Mayor, last time you asked the chief of police how many more cameras he needed. I ask you today, how many court rulings do you need? Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you. Mr. Fletes, welcome back to City Hall.
All right, good afternoon, guys. I'm sure you probably know why I'm here. Today I want to start with a number. That number is 115 days. That's how long it's been since I filed a records request with this city back on March 16th. Texas law gives y'all about 10 business days, not 115. I'm still waiting on the Attorney General to sort this out because the city has fought me on almost every page. 23 pages of the Flock contract are still completely blacked out, not redacted, full black sheets. And a lot of what I've asked for, camera locations, data retention, who has access to our data, still has yet to come. Some of that is in front of the AG. Some of it has been given no exemption at all. It's just not there at all. That's not transparency. That's not how somebody with nothing to hide acts. Y'all know the line, if you've got nothing to hide, what are you worried about? I hear that a lot about these cameras that are pointed at us, so I'll ask it tonight. What are you guys worried about? Folks were told this was a license plate reader. Nobody mentioned Flock calls it a vehicle fingerprint, tracking your car by color, dents, bumper stickers, roof racks, plates, no plate, window chips, and nobody mentioned the company's liability to any of us if this data gets misused is capped at $100. The label wasn't the truth. Flock's own people have admitted the rest. I spoke with their account exec outside last meeting, and they told me straight up on tape that facial recognition is already sitting in these cameras. The patent describes it too, tracking people by race, gender, height, clothing, and the answer we get is sure, it's there, but we don't plan to turn it on. Just trust our CEO. That is not a policy. That's a promise from a company with a $100 liability cap. This council does not work for Flock safety. It doesn't work for whoever's chief in the chair right now either. Not on this. Y'all work for us. Section 11-15 in your contract already gives you a way out. No balance owed, and I'm asking you guys to review it and use it. 115 days of stonewalling is the answer that I've gotten on transparency so far. I'd like a different one tonight. Thank you very much.
All right.
My father retired from Montgomery County Sheriff's Department. I am a citizen, have been my entire life. 9/11 happened 2.5 weeks after I turned 18. So I left for a while, did some traveling, things like that. Saw the world. Moved back home, went to work, started a business, raised my children. And now things are changing. Back then, all this started 9/11. They approved bills and they started doing surveillance. They started watching us. And now we have these Flock cameras. And these Flock cameras are right inside the legal line. This is all we're looking at is license plates. But they have facial recognition capabilities. They have all these capabilities that Flock does not hide from. Why do they have these capabilities? They're not going to use them right now, and we're all supposed to believe that they're never going to use them. When the laws change, they're not going to flip a switch and all of a sudden start using other capabilities. There's already been a case in Texas where Johnson County Sheriff's Department used Flock to search for a woman who they believed had an abortion. That's a new law. Anything they change, they can change it at any time, and they have the capability to just flip a switch and start doing new things. Last time Flock was here, they talked about how we own the data and not Flock, but that is a lie. That is not in the contract. The contract says that Flock owns the data, not the city of Conroe, not the residents. Electronics Frontier Foundation found as many as 50 federal, state, and local agencies used Flock to monitor No Kings participants. What law is broken by going to a protest, whatever the protest is? But there were over 50 agencies that did searches on license plates that they believed were people at No Kings protests. I don't care what you're speaking out for. I'm glad you're speaking out. As a veteran of 2 wars, I'm glad you're speaking out and using your freedom. A Colorado woman was wrongfully accused for theft at her home. Officers came to her home and called her a liar to her and her husband's face. Come to find out, Flock cameras got it wrong. In Aurora, Colorado, a mother and her children were forced to lay on hot concrete when the cameras identified their vehicle as a stolen motorcycle from Montana. They were in like an SUV or something, and it tagged as a stolen motorcycle because it read the license plate number wrong. Now, why the law enforcement officer didn't verify the license plate before they did a felony stop on them, I don't know. But the initial hit came from that flock camera. And that's my time.
Well, listen, thank you. Appreciate you being here tonight. Miss Betty.